Hey, we're here this evening with the lovely Amy
Hello.
and the wonderful Russianvids.
Oh, thank you so much
Hello.
for that, Karen. I appreciate that. And also, very good to see that Amy has joined us once again, just like last
Oh,
time.
thank you, Russianvids.
Oh, you're very welcome. It's well deserved.
Like, we're little Russianvid fans anyway, so,
Yes.
it's brilliant.
I appreciate that. Thank
And
you.
so's Floss. Floss is a
Yes.
fan
Oh,
too.
I'm Floss's #1 fan. That's my little
Oh,
doggy. You're just borrowing her for now,
Yes,
but that's
he said everybody. He said, I'll have a hangout with you if you send me Floss.
yes. Floss was part of the deal. I must have Floss, and I need her here as soon as possible.
Oh, I
Oh,
know.
that'd be great. Me and her are coming.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, so how are you, Russianvids?
Oh, fantastic. I'm doing the best I can considering all the nonsense that's happening in the world. And, just I just look at things. I'm like, how can people be so blind to not see we live in this scripted reality? It drives me absolutely nuts. But after a while, I just smile and kind of laugh and realize adults are just really children that have grown. They're physically have grown up, but mentally they have not.
Right.
Well, when you see most things and know most things, and other people, they just don't realize that it's everything. I mean, one of the questions I wanted to ask was that I actually did it. And then I realized that you had used a bit of Alex Jones or made an Alex Jones video. So I used a little bit of your video, but the Alex Jones, you know that he's not just Hicks, he's Pompeo in the Trump government. He was Pompeo, one of the secretaries.
With the world being a stage, you never know. This is the thing about me, Karen and Amy, and everybody else listening in. I do not. When people tell me something, and no matter if it sounds ridiculous or whatnot, in this ridiculous world, you cannot throw everything out. You have to look at things, analyze it. Just because it sounds crazy, don't reject it, and that's a huge part
Well,
of the truth.
the bit that really gets me is that it's a bit more harder with the people with brown eyes because they're going to come up with brown eyes on the videos. But we know that Trump, Biden, the Queen, Boris, and Putin have blue eyes, but we never see them with blue eyes. They only have brown eyes on the television, so it's not real.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and that's what they purposely do. They make the truth absolutely ridiculous, absolutely absurd, and because when it's presented, no one can, very few can accept it. So this is another strategy
Well,
they
you
have done.
start off, unfortunately, you start off with whatever it is. In England, it's going to be a football team. So just say, I'm a Liverpool supporter and my colour's red and I want that party. And you've got to get rid of all that doesn't exist when you wake up because they're part of that system that we want to get away from.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. It's divided at every angle. That's just like sports teams, and
You've got to
of
get rid
course,
of all that because unfortunately, they put everybody. So when we were growing up, yeah, my team's that. Yeah, I want that. And yeah, I like this. And because it's all put into you, isn't it?
absolutely, and like I said, it's all by design. Every angle they want to divide us, and that's getting into the face diaper. They don't want everybody to wear it. They want a portion of society to reject it because that's another part of the divide. That's one thing a lot of truthers don't understand is they don't want everybody to say yes to it. They want they want us to fight over it. They want to see. They want to show videos on CNN, Fox News of confrontations between people wearing the diaper on the face and the ones not wearing it. And so again, this is just another level of divide and conquer. And it's no fun for them if
Those
everybody
people are so
complies.
stressed out, Russianvids.
I'm sorry, say that again.
The ones that wear the diaper are still stressed out. Get away from me.
Yeah.
They're just all
Yeah,
Yes.
they still are. They still are, and I'm very cautious. And this is what I've seen over the years is new truthers spring out of nowhere, and they come out talk about the jab and the face diaper, and they're pretty pretty charming, pretty charismatic, and then after a few presentations, then they'll say things like, "Well, I'm not saying that you should social distance, but people that have the jab, stay away from them because it can leach off and it can affect you." So they want to scare the quote conspiracy people too. So don't play into that. Do not play into the fear, just like 5G. I said it from the start.
And Q. Q's another one they use it. They play games with because obviously there used to be another Q in the 70s called White Dove or something.
Yeah.
And people have forgotten about that one. And another one's come along and they've forgotten all about the other one wasn't real.
Yeah. So what I'm getting at is definitely they have a fear for the mainstream, and fear for the quote alternative media with chemtrails, the leaching of of the jab, people that have the jab, it can affect you. Every aspect they want us. They want us to have our own fears. Like I said, big thing is chemtrails.
It's called Project the Humans, isn't it?
Yeah, and the thing is, like I said about the chemtrails is, all these conspiracy people talk about. I said, how many funerals have you attended for people that passed because of chemtrails? So they just want you to be in fear, and fear is literally killing people inside slowly. So again, we should not have fear if we're dealing in truth, because we're playing into their game, their campaign, fear campaign in the public, which I do not.
Where are they, Russianvids? As I've already said, that when they're showing you this footage, all with brown eyes, they're not real. So where are the politics? Where are the politicians? Who's running? What's going on?
Well, like I said, they've done that many times. This is nothing new. Just like with Kennedy and that false event that happened in Dallas, Texas, and he's off into the sunset, off the world stage. But he shows back up on the world stage in the late 70s in that photo. He looks exactly like Jimmy Carter, but the hair is combed differently. It's in Newsweek, and I've discussed this many times, where they had a side by side of supposedly quote Jimmy Carter, left and right, and he had a different part. But if you look closely, they're not the two. Obviously not. They're both not Jimmy Carter. There's one Jimmy Carter and there's one Kennedy. So they love to, like, in front of millions upon millions of people, bring someone back alive from the dead, and that's what they do with Kennedy. And it's just mind games to them. It's just fun for them.
Well, me and Amy found out afterwards. You can now find it that Carter is half brother of Kennedy. I mean, we never grew up knowing that, did we? Why didn't they tell us that?
Well, we know they're all related. We knew that from the beginning, that it's the bloodline of the ruling elite, and their whole entire bloodline, of course, partaking in this world deception. So yeah, this is not very surprising to me. And even they admit, of course, Trump and Hillary, cousins related. Yeah,
they're cousins.
And we all know about Cheney and Obama, where Obama said back, was it 2008, that Cheney's no longer going to be in the White House. My cousin Cheney's no longer going to be in the White House. I'm not going to say his first name, because I don't have issues. But the bottom line is, they're always gonna. It's the yin and yang, the duality. They're always gonna give us that 1% of truth.
Well, do you know, I did a video the other day. Obama is Michelle.
Yes. Yes, Karen.
Obama plays his wife.
She used her computer program to work it out. It was really
something. Well, they're two different people, but at times, they can play little mind games with the the CGI and the effects and all that. So, yeah, definitely they left to them. Of course, we know with Obama and his so-called State of the Union speeches and addressing the public from the White House, it's totally all CGI. Do you know what I come
back to, Russianvids? That film that was done in the late 60s, you did a bit of it. I used that as well in one of my videos. The one that was done in the 1960s.
30-minute theater on BBC, yes.
He goes for an interview and they say, well, we know you've had an affair. We've been bugging you. And then they show him all this stuff. And he goes, well, I don't want any part of it. And they say, see you Monday at 8 o'clock. But in it, they said that they made all the news and they made it years in advance.
Yeah.
And they were telling then what they're doing to us now.
Yes. And they always give us that nugget of truth with all the lies. And like I said, it's the yin and the yang. And if all they gave us was 100% lies, then it's no longer duality. So they must work off the duality, good versus evil, black and white, hot and cold.
People aren't listening. I mean, when you wake up, you might have watched something, say 10, 15 years ago, and you took what you took from it. And then you wake up and you go and watch it again and you go, how did I not see all this? How did I not hear really what was being said? Because I suppose it's where you've got to and where you're funneled. I don't know, but they sometimes, like you said, they put the truth out, but it's mishmash with this other stuff. And I just don't think people get it. It just goes in one ear and out the other.
Well,
Right.
Karen, they've always done this where they must reveal the truth, and it's a game to them. We're gonna put all the information on who can dissect it all and obtain the truth with all the information we're providing. And again, just nuggets. You have to really not play, but pay close attention to what's happening to really see what's going on. And it's basically you have to really dive in, and it's got to be you got to make it part of your life to really investigate these things. If you do it part-time, you're just not going to be very good at it. You got to be a full-time truth seeker to really see all these things that we see. You got to be so very passionate for the truth to see the truth. If you have no passion,
You were doing it a bit before a lot of people, really, weren't you? Like the working it all out. You've worked all this out quite a long time ago.
Well, this is the thing is, myself being new at this, years ago, back 2008, 2009, a lot of people coming into it, hearing me speak about it, they mocked what I said about the number 33, about the world being a stage, and not only just that one event in New York and the moon landing was fake. I went beyond that. And so these people try to sound rational. They try to sound intelligent to the listener. So what they did was they just called 1, 2 events fake and everything else is real, because they don't want to be lost. They don't want to lose their family, friends, and peers. I had no concern about that. All I was concerned about was speaking the truth, and I called things for what I seen, not what I wanted to be. So what I'm getting at is these people that mocked me on the number 33 about all these fake deaths and all these kind of things, they come back and say what I'm saying. They never apologized to me. They never said they're sorry. A lot of them never gave me credit. There are some that did, but what I'm getting at is being at this very early, I saw things for what it was, and I was ahead of the game where people couldn't see what I see because they weren't there yet. It's like anything else. You have to start somewhere, and they were just what I call baby truthers at the time when I was already I've delved in it for quite a while before them.
Yes.
I know, and obviously people probably know this anyway, but you lost a channel, didn't you, for that reason? Because they used your stuff on the news, and then suddenly you woke up and you didn't have a channel.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened with the one event in London. Many channels gone down. My last one was 50,000, then it was cut down, and now I can't even use that one name. I might switch it back to the original Russianvids, but I go by RV Truth. In doing that, a lot of people can't find me on YouTube. They're searching Russianvids,
Right.
and all they find are bogus accounts. It's not me.
Yeah.
There's people on Twitter. There's like 4 or 5 people on Twitter claiming to be me. It's not even me. I'm not even on Twitter. So I used to be, but I haven't been on there for about a year and a half. And there's a lot of fake channels claiming to be me. There's even people out there that have Russianvids on YouTube, and they have a website where they're asking for donations showing my videos.
Oh, wow.
Money.
Wow. In one
work.
sense, it's honoring to think that so many people want to be you, but not in another.
Yeah,
Right.
it's just, it's just really ridiculous. But what I'm getting at is there's definitely a lot of ego in the truth, and a lot of people do not want to admit they've been lied to as truthers. They don't want to say, you know what, I was wrong about this or that, and Russianvids is right about this, such as Flat Earth, good friends and truth. They just can't go down that path. So what I'm getting at is once someone believes a lie, it's hard to unbelieve a lie, and that includes truthers too. It's because they're concerned about losing their audience. Like, well, I was wrong about this, and if I admit it to my audience, I'm going to lose credibility. Their ego can't allow that. So that's another major issue with many truthers.
Yes.
Yeah, you've been doing a few hangouts with the Flat Earth Fucker lately, haven't you?
Absolutely. We've been in contact, and he's really, stuck his neck out there for truth. Been incarcerated several times, going to court, refusing to wear the the face diaper, and his business was actually shut down by the government there in Canada, in Vancouver. So he's been through a lot, and he likes, like everybody else involved with truth, his channels have been shut down, and when that happens, I'm happy to create a podcast for him based on his situation, and he can explain everything that's happening, and obviously to get more subs. It makes it easier for people to find them, because once your channel goes down, now you're buried completely on the YouTube algorithm. So it definitely helps.
I've lost 2 channels as well, and they're yes, Amy knows.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's
the big thing is, Karen, the main thing is this, I would tell people is they really need to understand when we're speaking on this platform, we can't obviously say what we really want to say fully. So people are like frustrated. Well, why don't you talk about this? And why don't you cover this? Well, in a perfect world, for our situation, we would. So people out there need to understand that it's a heavily censored platform. We're doing the best we can considering the circumstances.
Exactly. Yes.
Well, I tried to monetize myself, and it took them nearly a year to write to me. And then I did have a couple of strikes, but one of those wasn't fair. But anyway, I've done all that. So made videos about that on the channel. And then they wrote to me and they said, your information is too controversial and harmful to the people.
Oh, wow. Yeah, they're gonna say that. Like I said, that's why, to be honest, the best strategy for that is do a lot of flat earth work, and then maybe mix in just some bits here and there that are a bit controversial. But if all you're gonna throw out is controversial stuff, it's gonna be a real red flag, and you're not.
Well, we do hangouts. We have many talks. Probably most of the stuff we're not going to agree with the we're going to at the other side of the line, but I try to mix and match it, and I put a lot out about Tartaria. Like, do you know when the first electric car was made? So they're saying.
First electric car?
First electric car.
Honestly, I have not looked into the exact date, so I wouldn't.
Well, they say it was the 1830s, but houses didn't get electric till the 1880s. And in fact, I found one site saying it was 1828.
Well, the thing about things like this is it's extremely hard to verify. We're just, we're going off information we find online, and we know history's a lie, and we weren't there when this is all going down. So there's nothing concrete to say that's factual. This is not factual. This is factual. It's really interesting discussion, but to really pinpoint it to when the true date is, we'll never know. My
point was that if we were making electric cars, but the people didn't even have electricity in their houses, that just doesn't add up.
Right.
Yeah, well, a lot of things, as we all know, a lot of things don't add up on the world stage and the lie system. And, this is why I always talk about, this is why that, you have the song by the band Genesis there in the UK, The Land of Confusion. They purposely make it a land of confusion so people can't figure it out. That's the exact reason why it's the land of confusion. With all the politicians as puppets, in the music video, Ronald Reagan, Gaddafi, everybody on the world stage. But I get your point. Nothing what they say, their lies don't add up. They never add up.
No, the lies will not add up.
I don't understand why they don't.
Up.
Okay, sorry, Amy. I don't understand.
I was just going to say the truth will stand up to any kind of questioning or anything, but a lie is going to always be something different, and it doesn't stand to questions. So,
absolutely, well stated,
right.
Amy.
Yes,
very well stated.
Why didn't they just say to us about 200 or 300 years ago, we were the baddies, we won, we changed everything, and we're the result of that? I know that's a bit matter of fact, but I think that people would accept it. They just want the truth.
Yes.
I mean, we're not going to believe them anyway, because we can't believe them because they never tell the truth. But
no, that's not true. Actually, they do give us the truth and nuggets. Like I said earlier. But it's like, let me give an example, Karen. For example, you'll have Bill Nye, the lie guy, talking about space, this, and this. Then out of nowhere, he'll say, one thing I want everybody to know is we live in a contained system. just like Neil deGrasse Tyson talks about space, space, space. Then he'll say, about Felix Baumgartner's jump, that, from that height, it's flat. That stuff is flat. So they do give us some truth, but it's minimal. It's minuscule. But you're right. It's so it's such a small percentage. Yeah. Go ahead, Karen.
I mean, I found out as well, like the Holy Roman Empire. The first one was the Italians, and the second two, and there was 3 Reichs: First, Second Reich, and Third Reich. And the first one was Italian, and the second 2 were German. But they don't explain it like that to Stu, are they? That the second 2 were German, and the Holy Roman Empire didn't. I don't know. It only ended in 1900s, and then Russia became the Holy Roman Empire again. And in fact, even though they say they're not now, they still have the double eagle on their flag, so they're still part of the Holy Roman Empire.
Well, one thing, Karen, one thing very important to understand: the world being a stage, even back then, we have to get away from who ruled when they're all working together. So, it was the Russians or the Italians or the Vatican. The world's a stage, and they want to keep us locked in the box. That's why I have a real problem. That's why I have a real problem with Eric Dubé pushing that one leader in that one country in Europe as some kind of hero when the world's a stage. So that's why I call him, even though he does great flat earth work, he's still what I consider a baby truth there, or just intentionally misleading people and having that frame of thought of, well, this country was in charge and this one took over, when literally the world's a stage. So we have to put them on the same level and not one over the other.
Right.
We have to remove ourselves from that dynamic of, well, Russia took over here, and then the Vatican was in power, and then the UK became in power when
we don't even know if any of it's true, but that's what they've written.
It's like this. It's like pro wrestling. They put a championship belt on a Hulk Hogan, a professional wrestler. Then they take it off him. They put it on another one, but they're all working together. It's a show. So even back then it was a show, just like the 13 colonies was all a show. There's no real 13 colonies breaking away from, England. It's just to make people believe that these individuals want to be sovereign. And even the people partaking in it at the lower levels thought that, but the ones that were at the highest levels, of course, they're in the know that this is a false breakaway to make people believe that, the 13 colonies are sovereign when they're still obviously being controlled. And the whole, all these battles, I'll be careful with how I word it. The battles were all just for show too, just to make people believe there's boundaries when there's no boundaries. There's no a real territory difference. Again, the world being a stage, not only today, but going back way back in time.
Well, you can't even match any of history up either. And, it took me a long time. I was looking up Charles I. I think he's Charles I of England, but he was also Charles V. I think he ruled Spain or Egypt. He was the Holy Roman Emperor, which means he was the Holy Roman Emperor of England. But he's an English king in the English one. But they don't really put him together as Charles V. He's Charles I. And they've got different titles, like the Tsar of Russia and his wife, but they were also Prince and Princess of Prussia, and they're different titles. Romanovs? And if you don't realise, they're different people, but they're the same people.
Karen, the Romanovs you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, and of course they even admitted that they have a bloodline to England. So
yes, and guess who was a Romanov? Amy will tell you. Who was it when I came across him, Amy?
Oh, the Tsar. You mean the Tsar of Russia?
No. When I came across the picture of him with the Romanovs.
I'm drawing a blank. Wait.
Prince
Harry.
No, Prince Philip.
Prince Philip. Okay, gotcha.
Well, here's the thing: is we have to remember as well the infamous dialogue that Prince Charles had when he was in Romania talking about Vlad the Impaler, saying, how basically they're related. That's why he has an interest with Romania. So they're just telling you that it's like Coke, or Pepsi owning the competition. It's like they own it all. It's like this. The best analogy is this: when you're watching CNN, you're watching Court TV, you're watching True TV, you're watching TMZ. It's all owned by Time Warner. It's all under one umbrella. So it's sort of the same thing, different names, but it's all the same. So that's a huge aspect, with the Middle East, with Syria, Egypt, Iraq. These are all Masonic. You see them all doing the Masonic handshakes with other world leaders. Very famous one, of course, Tony Blair shaking hands with Gaddafi, a Masonic handshake. Like I said, they communicate without speaking. Words are meaningless, and they're literally telling us through these symbols that the world's a stage and they're all working together. So that's why I never say like, oh, but these people are in power at once, or this country took power over this country, when it's just you're watching a movie.
They all play together, don't they, Russianvids?
Yeah, it's just a movie, and we have to eradicate the thought of this country ruling over this one at this period. That's how the history is the divide, country versus country. Now, here's the thing is, so country versus country, like say the Turks versus the Greeks. But when you get to the Greeks or you get into Turkey, there's infighting. A lot of people don't like each other. Religions within the country don't like each other. Just like in Iraq, very famous, the Peshmerga, they don't like the Sunnis, or how's it go? The Sunnis, and what's the other religion in Iraq? But whatever the case is, there's multiple divisions. I might have the religions mixed up here a bit, but the different religions do not like the Muslims, the Sunnis, and all these other, stables, I should call them. This is the whole point of having all these different religions. We know there's a creator, but they divide us with all the different religions. But here's a common factor. Many of the religious beliefs have foundational agreements about a creator, and they might deviate a little bit on certain things, but again, it's all about divide. This is how they obviously they rule, the divide and conquer method at every angle.
Yes, definitely.
Hey, Amy, tell Russianvids the bit we found out about Harry.
Well, yes, that there was a movement, I think it was in 2010, they wanted, in Russia, there was a political party that wanted Prince Harry to become the Tsar of Russia because of the Russian ties that he has, I guess, through Prince Philip. And so they just, this party.
And the Queen.
Was that?
And the Queen as well. She's part Russian as well.
Through the Queen, yes. And so there was this political party, and they had decided if we could go back to God and country and that type of thing. They were Christian and conservative and kind of establishing like an empire or a system like that would really benefit the Russians. And they wanted Prince Harry to be the czar of the whole thing. Like I said, I think it was 2010 is when they had this plan, but obviously it didn't turn out. But yeah, Karen and I had discovered that a few weeks ago. So
well, yeah, here's the thing is that's interesting. That's interesting you mentioned that, Amy, because the script has been changed on the world stage many times. Just like back in the late 70s when you had this one documentary, they actually showed it on History Channel at a later date with Leonard Nimoy from Star Trek. He played, of course, Spock, where they're talking about the upcoming ice age, and it's inevitable, and all of these scientists agree on this upcoming ice age. Mm-hmm. And at some point, they changed it to, quote, global warming, which I say many times, not only is global warming a hoax, the globe's a hoax, obviously. Right. So that's how deep the lies go. But yeah, that's interesting. You mentioned that with Prince Harry, and yeah, there's a lot of things that happen, internally, and there's many cogs of the wheel. They have plans for things, but of course, they can alter the script just like they alter a script for a movie.
Exactly.
I think they're changing our history, to be honest. I mean, when me and James found out that with Napoleon, when he was on boat arrest before they sent him off to St. Helena, came to England, and the English people gave him red carnations, which they at least admired him, if not loved him. And I'm like, what? I'd never heard that before. But I
Right.
think actually it was because Napoleon had been the Holy Roman Emperor. So they just, oh, anyway, you get my drift. It's all just.
Well, I look at it this way, these kind of things, we come to different conclusions, different findings, and I kind of like leave it like this because it's so hard to tell. That's a possible scenario, but again, the world being a stage, this leader over that leader, they're just figureheads, puppets that they decide we're going to put this puppet into play. We're going to remove this puppet for whatever reasons. Maybe they didn't want to go along with the plan. There's many internal things we don't know about. But the bottom line is, the more you search, dig into truth, as far as the past concerns, it's very foggy. And but there's nothing wrong with having a belief of what went down. I have no problem with people coming to certain conclusions and theorizing what has taken place. But as to call them factual, exactly what happened, we don't know. We weren't there. There's a lot of gray area. We're working off the lie system. We're working with lies, trying to figure out the truth. So it gets to be very muddy waters we're dealing with. But yeah, it's still, we should never stop still looking at things, investigating things, obviously, and trying to put the pieces together. And that's one thing, Karen, you and Amy have done.
Information, Russianvids, we just go, wow, because it's like, I don't know, our history just is changing all the time on the internet.
Well, it's all fake. Yeah, well, it's all fake. And so as far as I'm concerned, I made this analogy before. This is why the flat earth truth is so very important. That's the foundation of all the lies of this world.
Yes.
And once your foundation is a lie, everything after that lie is a lie as well. So it's lie. It's a lie. It's like an onion, a layer of onion. There's so many lies, and people are trying to figure out the truth. And again, this is what a huge thing I've come to this kind of focal point where I look at things, I look at the world, and I see people that watch the mainstream, they're deceived, and most conspiracy people are deceived as well. We should be like water. I'm not to steal from Bruce Lee. We should be like water and go where the information leads us and not be solid on anything. Mm-hmm. I know we're not living on a, for example, we're not living on a spinning ball.
You open, don't you, all the time to things?
Absolutely, because once we, it's like this. Once people come to a conclusion and they're so sure, now any new information cannot be accepted because you already, people's egos are like, well, I already figured it out, so I'm going to reject that because I already figured it out. I'm like, the way I look at it is like this. Look, this is, as far as I see it, this makes the most sense. This is the most plausible. But with new information, it's okay to come to new conclusions. I think that's a very important aspect of being a truther, is not be so sure or solid about anything. And that's the most important thing, I think. And that's going to lead us to the real truth.
Like when you were first looking at things maybe 10 years ago, your mind might have changed to the outcomes of some of those things now as you've learned more about things. You start.
Yeah, absolutely. Just like JFK. JFK, yeah, exactly. JFK was one that was a hard one to get over because, even in the beginning myself, all these presidents are frauds, but JFK was legit. They took him out, this and this one. No, and I made a video about it, how calling Trump and JFK the two greatest deceivers when it comes to presidents of the U.S. Obama fits in that as well, being a complete fraud, a complete scam being thrown at us. But what it comes down to is all of them. And the funny thing is, and I said it before, where JFK says he's against secret societies, secret meetings, when he's giving Masonic handshakes to Richard Nixon and other politicians. They're going to deceive with words, but tell you the truth. We're going to see the truth with the signs and symbols.
Yes.
Yes, we're not looking close enough then. We should be seeing their handshakes.
Yes, that's the great deception is they're going to make you believe he's not part of it. And just like Newt Gingrich said, Trump, he can't be president of the U.S. because he's a black sheep. He never took part of the initiation rite. So, he'll never become president. So they want to make people believe that Trump is a true outsider. He's not part of the rigged system when nothing could be further from the truth.
But he is, isn't he?
But he is. Absolutely. And,
right. I think he either never existed or he died years ago.
Well, that's, some gray area there. We know this. these people, these politicians, they do a tremendous amount of traveling. It doesn't surprise me at all. For example, Biden, we know there's multiple Bidens. Trump, it would not surprise me at all either. The thing is this, it kind of reminds me of, they kind of let the, they let the secret out with, like, for example, like when Madonna gives an interview, she talks about, for security reasons, I have 3 doubles. So, where I'm supposed to be here, I'm actually at home and they're here. So that makes me think when she's like, she does all the musical recordings and all these things, people are, you can have a double on stage. That's
Right.
Madonna's double. And at a distance, it looks like her, but the real Madonna's like, no, I don't want to do this. I don't want to travel from New York to Miami or New York to San Francisco and do that concert. I'm just lip syncing on stage most of the time anyways. We'll get a lookalike to do it. I'm not saying they do that all the time, but hey, if she's under the weather or not feeling good, you never know. They could pull that off.
I think that's exactly what they do, Russianvids.
Yes. Me
Yeah,
too.
there's definitely some things going on with this world stage where, again, William Shakespeare, all the world's a stage. And
I mean, I've got a video where Madonna doesn't hold the microphone up at the right time so that she's not singing, that she's singing, but she's not singing at the same time as the video.
Well, have you seen the Bon Jovi video where Bon Jovi is, I think it's
He starts singing a song and the song starts playing and he's not singing.
Yeah, and he smiled and he's like, oops,
Right.
Yeah, he went, oh, well, never mind. And then he carried on doing his fake, his fake singing performance.
Yeah, completely embarrassing, completely humiliating. And
One of the funniest ones I saw was, I can't remember which band it was. It was a big band, and he was walking across the stage, and he fell off the stage, and the music was still going.
Oh no!
It's just and of course they're trained in a lie system. They're trained to just telling lies, and they lie so much it becomes like breathing. It's not even a big deal.
Well, this one time, Justin Bieber came on stage, and he was actually obviously had a hangover, and he was being sick while he was singing.
Oh, no.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, unbelievable stuff happening on the world stage, and it's just
everybody's on auto cue.
Yeah,
yes.
Absolutely.
Well, I think everything is fake, though. It's almost like you could sit here going, I can't look at anything. It's all fake, but it is a little bit fine.
Well, that's what we're living in. Like I always say, listen to the truth in movies, lies in the news. They put truth in entertainment. When you listen to lyrics and songs, like Queen with Freddie Mercury, and he is the song Bohemian Rhapsody in the beginning. Is this real life or is this a fantasy?
Well, do you know what? Yes. They've got a logo, Russianvids. It's got griffins on it, and it's got like crowns and their logo for Queen. You should look that one up when you're looking at all.
Yeah, I know all about Queen. Freddie Mercury says he was asked about going to heaven or hell, and he goes, "I prefer hell." It's to heaven. Because you'll meet more interesting people. And it's a party, and it's of course scripted to say that because it's of course they want to influence a lot of people, and these people are under the wing of obviously those behind the scenes that we never see. And Freddie Mercury is just literally a puppet on a string and hiding his Indian background so he can really, play up to the UK.
I wonder who he became, Russianvids.
I'm sorry?
I wonder which singer or actor he became next.
Yeah, that's another thing too. He did look very thin, slender, but I would not put that beyond part of the game to make him look sick, to make him look ill. Part of the riding him off the world stage, and you can obviously make people lose weight, to make them look sickly. So I don't trust it. I don't believe anything they say. Why should we believe anything they say? All we do is lie.
They could have superimposed his head because they love doing that.
Yeah.
Well, that reminds me, talking about fakes and phonies in these music industry. It reminds me of Michael Jackson, the big hoopla over that. Right away, I knew it was a fake, phony story. When I saw Joe Jackson, Michael Jackson's dad, he was so casual, nonchalant, no big deal, talking about the passing of Michael. But the big thing is his doctor, Conrad Murray, with the con in the name, and Murray being a 33 name, doing all the Masonic hand signs in court over the whole debacle over the passing of a supposed passing of Michael Jackson. You had this one woman. Her name was Sad Ending. Sad Ending. So you take away, you replace the E with the A in her SADE first name, and you have Sad Ending. The whole entire time she's in court, she's laughing, smiling, because it's just a big production, and she's just an actress on the world stage. And
did you say Russianvids, with all they're doing their sign language and that it's the Masons that run everything then?
Well, it could be Masons, Jesuits, the Jays, whatever you want to say. But to me, it doesn't really matter. It's just, they're just like working together. It's like you look at who's, for example, on the surface of things, who's running things. Well, there's many departments and there's many heads, but I kind of look at it this way. This might be controversial with some people, but it's like you have the politicians who are being controlled by people behind the scenes, and those people behind the scenes are literally Satanists. And who's pulling their strings? Satan himself. People might not believe that, but I believe we live in a supernatural world. This world supposedly started from an explosion from nothing. No, there's a creator that created all this. Everything we consume that's good for us. You eat an orange, vitamin C. You eat watermelon, vitamin K, seeds, nuts, berries. All these things that perfectly supplement us and make us healthy. It cannot happen by accident. Everything's aligned to perfectly, make us healthy with all the foods. And it's not just random by an explosion that we get blueberries, strawberries, bananas, mangoes, avocados out of nowhere. No, it's definitely obviously designed for us. And unfortunately, even truthers deny the creator, and they want to believe in aliens. They want to believe anything, but they want to deny the creator. And they're not real truthers.
Right. Yes, I definitely believe in the creator. Definitely. No explosion or Big Bang or anything like that.
Well, that's the thing is, Amy, the Big Bang explosion, people don't even know this. The people that just your everyday people that believe that live in a ball, is they don't even understand why the ball supposedly spins. It's supposedly from, quote, the inertia from the initial explosion from the Big Bang. So that's why we're supposedly spinning is from the initial explosion. And since we're, quote, in deep space, it just never stops spinning. Here's the thing is, they say the evidence of us spinning is when you go to a museum and you see the Falkland's pendulum on the ground swinging back and forth. First off, it needs magnets to work. You need to push it. And if that was true,
that would mean that the world would be going backwards and forwards and backwards.
The thing is, Karen, the thing is this: if that was true, our chandeliers in the ceiling should be swinging back and forth.
Right.
So it's just nonsense. And it's, when people analyze it from the very beginning, from the very basic.
What they've got to do is stop and think about what they think about. They might think different things.
Well, the thing is, their ego is the biggest obstacle to get past. They can't get past because once people are taught, quote, foundational things, these are not things to review again. We live in a ball. All countries have different leaders. Votes count. These are fundamental things to the average person on this flat earth that they believe. I can't
come across anybody who votes, to be honest. Whenever I say something, I'm not voting for them, they say, well, we never vote. I don't find anybody that votes.
Well, that's a good start. That's a good start, but they got to go deeper than that. That's a good start. And I find it funny how they, through comedy, through sports celebrities, they'll say things like, which I've been saying forever about, politicians left and right. It's a two-headed snake. They're both all working together. It's like you, Karen, holding up two socks, one on the left hand, one on the right hand, and one's a right wing and one's a left wing, but you're the one controlling both. That's exactly how it's happening. They're just sock puppets, literally on a string. And the funny thing about people like Donald Trump, of course, he had his reality show. He's in the Wrestling Hall of Fame for having a
Yes.
wrestling
Well,
match.
he won him for president, boy. He's a WWE wrestler.
Yeah, and the funny thing is too, the first time he was spotlight on TV, he was introduced by Dan Rather. I believe it was Dan Rather at 33 years old. But here's the big thing: Dan Rather was part of the Masonic Demolay Society. So that's the funny thing is you have people like Walter Cronkite, who was a member of Demolay Society. Then once he retires, Dan Rather took over, who was part of the same society, who was part of the same Masonic Free Masonic Society. Of course, Walt Disney and many others have been part of. So once people put these very, very important pieces together, they're going to see how this rig system works. It's going to be very, very transparent. But, you know, that's, again, why I say knowledge is power. The more you know, the more you're empowered and not just regurgitate anything. That's the thing about society. They're so busy, so inundated with their daily job, their ridiculous TV programs and sport. They're not even looking at, you know, investigating anything they're reading. This is the information provided by the media,
Right.
by the school textbook, and they don't look deeper than that. This is what's presented. Why would they lie?
You as a person knowing all that, do you stay more at home, or do you not bother about it and you go out and you face the outside world? Because I stay at home a lot more now because I just don't want to be in it.
Well, the thing is this, you know, being part of society, they pressure us to be, oh, you got to be out and about. You got to be part of the club. You got to be part of the groups. You got to be part of this group in school or this fraternity at school, this college, university. They want us to group think. They don't want individuals. They don't want us being self-employed. They want us to
be boot camp, aren't we?
Yes, but the bottom line, to answer your question, I enjoy being at home, away from the sheeple, because especially what's happened last year and a half, definitely being out and about in society, seeing these people wearing these ridiculous face diapers, running around all scared. Myself, I'll go to a local store, not wearing a face diaper, and some lady walked across the aisle, which I was standing. She was wearing a double face diaper with a shield. She saw me. Goodness. She split really quick. She went the opposite way and grumbling about me and not wearing a face diaper. And I just laughed. And this is what I told someone. I went to this $1 store, and this elderly lady was there, and she was giving me a hard time for not wearing the face diaper. I said, "Look, this is all fake, and keep your paranoia to yourself." And she got so angry and upset, she left, and I stayed in the store. And the employee came up to me, "Oh, sir, can I help you find anything?" Because I made a pretty big ruckus. So the moral of the story was, I stood my ground. I stood up for myself, and it wasn't me that left the store. It was the one that was wearing the face diaper that vacated the premises.
That's
and
awesome.
I got great pleasure from that.
Awesome, Russianvids.
Standing his ground.
Yes.
Yeah. And the employee, what I love is the employee was they heard me. I was very loud, very vocal, saying this is just a hoax, saying this is keep your paranoia to yourself. And this person, employee, I guess they didn't want to. I don't know. They didn't want to hear it from me. They just were so on my side. "Oh, sir, if you need anything, let me know. I'll be over here. I'll be glad to help you." Instead of escorting me out of the store, which they usually do.
Right. Wow. Yeah, that was really good, because I think anytime I try to make a protest, I'm the one that gets looked at like I'm crazy or horrible or something like that. I don't have too much good luck with them.
Well, you know, Amy, the thing is, I'm very vocal. I'm very loud. I'm very firm.
Yes.
I'm very confident what I say. But here's the thing, too. One thing I'll pass on, too. I was at a local Walmart store, and I'm not wearing the face diaper. And this is a few months ago, and everybody's wearing them. And this one guy came across me. He looked at me, didn't say a word. And he looked at me kind of strange. I'm like, I wonder what this guy's thinking. A lot of people look at me kind of funny. I really don't care. But what I'm getting at is 5 minutes later, I see him at the other end of the store with his wife. He removed his face diaper. It's like, what I'm getting at is he probably said, he doesn't like it, doesn't want to do it. If that guy doesn't do it, I'm not going to do it either. He has the courage, and I'm going to follow suit. So that made me feel very good to see that like, he's like, I don't really want to do it, but I gave him the courage to do the same thing. So leading by example, and that's what I've done, you know, is you know, I'll be honest with you, I'm not going to lie. I'm being very honest here. It's stressful sometimes, especially in the beginning, going to stores. There's hundreds of people. You're the only one not wearing the face diaper. You're getting looks. You're worried about somebody telling you got to leave. All these things you have to. You're worried about someone maybe wanting to start a fist fight with you. So you got to be very strong. You got to be very strong with these things. But one thing is, I never showed an ounce of being scared or intimidated. Just be strong. Look up.
That's what my daughter does. She'll just go in and they don't give her a hard time. She'll just kind of go in and stand her ground, and she really doesn't get the hard time.
Well, one thing is, though, in the beginning, I had to enter the store, they force you to have the face diaper. But once you get past security, boom, you just take it off.
Yes.
You know, and that's all you have to do. Literally just for a second. Or what I would do, say, oh, yeah, I'm going to I have it in my pocket. And I just keep walking. You know, so, but anyways, we have to stand our ground. And I mean, I don't want to say this, but if you're an individual that's in truth, and you know, you have to buy your daughter some maybe some cough drops or something, and they will not allow you in the store, take care of your daughter. Do what you need to do. If they're going to force you, there's times to take a stand. There's times you got to pick your fights. Myself, I refuse myself, but for everybody else, I don't want your daughter suffering over someone like forcing you. No, you cannot enter. And I know people trying to enter a gas station and purchase gas. They refuse service because if you need to go from, if you can't go anywhere, you're going to be stranded. You need to do what you need to do. So not to be contradictory, we have to pick our fights. And not be too bullheaded where now you're in the middle.
I still know what you mean, Russianvids. I myself haven't had to put one on. I get my little sign out which says I doesn't have to wear one, although it says London Transport on it. It doesn't say doctor or anything. And they go, oh, fine. But I have one in my purse that my daughter gave me once when I thought I had to wear one, but I didn't. And if I had to really wear one, I would, but I don't want to, and I don't.
Good.
Yeah.
And like I said, we have to take a stand. It's like this, you know, guys like Brian Stavely, Flat Earth Fokker, they had to wear a face diaper to get aboard a plane. I'm not going to give them a hard time. They needed to. There's no way. You can't walk. You can't drive. It's too long. We don't like it, but sometimes, like here's a good example. I know someone that refuses to wear the face diaper. They traveled from Florida to California. And they got to a hotel, and they said, "You're not, you know, even though they're reserved everything, we're not going to let you have entry unless you wear the face diaper." He's like, "Look, I'm tired. I've been driving 12 hours. I don't have it in me to fight these people. You know, things like that." But just to cower down and do it at every stop, every store, no, that's not how you do it. But like I said, everybody has to do what's right for them. I hate, for example, Karen or you, Amy. Some people harassing you, 5 or 6 people filming you and harassing you because you're not wearing a face diaper, you know. So again, you know, every situation is different. I don't want people to get physically, you know, hurt over it.
I'd like an island that's with you because none of us are wearing that.
Thanks, Matt. I appreciate
we
that.
don't live on a piece of land with you.
Yeah, well, you know what the thing is with me is, you know, one thing about me is I'm just like a natural type leader. We got to lead by example, and it's not easy.
You'd be having us drinking lemon every day, and you'd be having us. We'd be vegans, or I mean vegetarians, if we lived with you.
Yes.
Yeah, that's for sure. Because I'm telling people right now, just think about this for a second. I'm gonna throw something at you, Karen and Amy and everybody else listening in. Think of this: when you walk up to an apple tree. You walk up to an orange tree. You walk up to any kind of, you know, avocado, mango, all these kind of fruits. You just literally You can pick it from the tree. You can eat it right there, peel it, and eat it right in the spot, no problems. Now, think of this. If you're a meat eater, are you going to grab an animal with your bare hands, tear it apart, and eat it there? No. It's
Right.
not intended. It's not intended for humans to consume meat. Look at our teeth. We're not made to grab an animal with our bare hands and start eating at it. That is not, that's not what a human would do. This whole fabrication of, the whole industry, and of course we know this, they're pushing it.
Yes.
Every single fast food restaurant, they serve meat. Show me one mainstream, big name fast food restaurant or any kind of restaurant that's a big name that's strictly vegetarian or vegan. They don't exist because
I know.
the leader pushing the consumption, the murder of animals.
Yes.
They love it. And here's the thing is, if we were all born vegetarian or vegan, and you heard about someone killing an animal to consume it, to eat it, you would call them murderers.
Yeah.
They're horrible people. But we've been conditioned to accept this. And like I said before, when people go to restaurants or go to McDonald's and they unwrap the paper to consume a hamburger, they're not thinking for a second about the poor animal that was killed for that. They're just, oh, this is good, this tastes good. And
I
not
know.
poor animal, because people are just a product of their environment. They're a product of their surroundings. We must step away from society at every angle, from food, medicine, the spinning ball, the lies of NASA, and the face diapers, of course.
Yes.
And everything you watch on the live vision.
Exactly. So everything they're pushing, we must go in the opposite direction. And one thing I'll just close on the whole vegetarian vegan thing. People say, oh, Russianvids, RV Truth is pushing the NWO agenda of veganism. I'm like, no. If this is true, like I said, all fast food restaurants will be vegan. And here's something funny too. Have you noticed, with when it comes to all the garbage that they feed children and adults too, ho-hos, ding-dongs, Twinkies. Have you ever noticed, of course it's all full with garbage out, it's going to kill you. Have you ever noticed that a Twinkie is shaped like a coffin?
No, but that's a good point. You're right.
Yeah. It's eating Twinkies will put you in the grave, and they're showing you a Twinkie shaped like a coffin.
That's awful, isn't it?
But have you noticed as well, look at a walnut. A walnut, when you take it out of the nut, it looks like the human brain. And what is the walnut good for? It's good for your mind. It's good for your mind. If you split a carrot in half, it looks like two eyes. And what is carrot good for? It's good for your eyes. Look at celery. It's shaped like a bone. The end shaped like a bone. And what is it good for? It's good for your bones. So there's many examples of truth in plain sight with God's creation. But we can know things. We can know things by the colors. For example, cantaloupe is orange. We see we see, of course, carrots. Cantaloupe are orange. They're vitamin A, beta carotene, good for our eyes. So you look at different colored fruits. You're going to know what vitamins they contain. So that's why I always tell people, when you make a fruit salad, just think of all the different colors you could put in there, and you're going to get all your different vitamins. That very simple.
Yes.
And I'll say this too. In closing, I'll say this too. Even doctors will never tell you, oh, you're eating too much meat. You got to eat more meat. No, they'll even say, you got to cut back on meat. You need more vegetables.
That's right.
You need more vegetables. And in the Bible, the vegetarian diet was the original diet. In Genesis, it talks about how fruits and nuts will be for you, will be for meat for you. So these are meats. That's why when you cut up a mango, they call it the flesh of the mango. That's the meat. So that's a meat too. So the vegetable has meat to them. So what kind of meat? Are we talking from an animal? We're talking about a fruit or vegetable. So, like they'll say, that's a very meaty avocado, has a lot of flesh to it. Yeah, so that's something to consider.
Yes. Well, my sister, she's a vegan, and
Fantastic.
she knows that about, what it says in the Bible about the flesh and everything. And she's always, telling me that we're not meant to eat meat, and we're meant to only eat the fruits and vegetables and so forth. So she's 100% with you, Russian Viz.
Amy,
I'm good.
tell your sister thank you so much for what she does.
All
And
right.
I'll say this: the reason people continue to consume meat is just like people continue to believe they live in a ball. They've been trained, and it's so hard, and it's not easy because I'm going to be very blunt, as I always am. It's not that meat tastes
Basically,
bad.
Russianvids, we're addicts to meat then.
Yes, because I'm going to be very blunt, honest, and a lot of vegetarians and vegans are not going to like this, but I'm going to be very honest. It's not because meat doesn't taste good. I'm not saying it
Right.
doesn't. I'm not saying steak or a hamburger doesn't taste good. Because I'll be lying. But the point is, I'm not going to be selfish and have these poor animals, and I'll be careful the words I'm saying, perish, a beautiful, healthy cow that loves its calf, and we're going to take its life away because I'm selfish. I want to
Yeah.
eat that when I can survive without having that animal being taken away from this world. I can survive just as fine, if not better. So I'll tell you right now, not to be graphic, but when you eat fruits, vegetables, you drink nice, healthy, clean water, it's so much easier to digest. When you eat
Yes.
meat, it sticks in your system. And also, all these people that get food poisoning from eating meats, how many people get food poisoning from eating fruits and vegetables? If I leave the burrito I ate last night, that's a vegetarian burrito, out last night, I don't have to worry about getting sick. If it's a chicken or beef burrito, you got to throw it out.
Right.
It tells you something right there. And many people lose their lives over eating meat. So I look at it as you ate something that was murdered. Now
And
you're
not just
killed
that,
for it.
it's all the chemicals, like wherever they give the animal, we eat the animal. I mean, I know I'm
Yes.
a meat eater, but I don't ever forget that. Like, whatever they're injecting them with, we actually get it in the end anyway.
Well, I just look at it this way. Yeah, absolutely. I agree, Karen. And that's 100% truth. I look at it this way. Even if people are not vegan or vegetarian, it's better for your health to go in that direction as you age because, again, not to be graphic, if you eat foods, a lot of meats, a lot of proteins, and you get compacted, that stuff's building and it becomes toxic. It's rotting in you. This is how people get cancer. It's from that meat that just stays in your system. And when you get backed up, constipated, what happens is it's just like how cats and dogs pass away. When they get older, they get constipated, then they die of liver failure, kidney failure, because they're constipated. So if someone's constipated, that means there's a very good chance, if you have chronic constipation, there's a very good chance you're going to get cancer eventually because all those
Wow.
toxins build up.
Wow. That's
So
important to know. Yes.
yeah, and that's so very, very, very important to keep our system clean. That's why I tell people drink lemon juice in the morning. It will stifle your appetite and also help relieve you. It's just a natural way to relieve you without any
And the lemon juice.
lemon juice. Yeah, I said lemon juice and also apple cider vinegar. Be careful of the raw apple cider vinegar because it's very strong. And if you consume too much, in moderation, if you consume too much, it can actually have the opposite effect. It can dehydrate you. So it's okay to drink apple cider vinegar, but make sure you drink a lot of water. The best way to do it is take 2 teaspoons or tablespoons in the morning with a little bit of warm water. Let it sit in you for an hour or two. Then consume, say, maybe a half gallon of water. Because what happens after 1 or 2 hours, it's like Drano. It's breaking down all that bad stuff in your system. After an hour or two, you want to flush it all out. You don't want it remaining in your system.
Okay.
Then everything will just flush out of you, and you're gonna feel a lot better. And I'm telling you, I've never felt better once I became a vegetarian. Once I became a vegetarian, it's a huge change. When you eat, for example, I might go to a restaurant. I'll do simple things. I'll have the chips. I'll have maybe even onion rings once in a while with the burger. But what I'll simply do is exchange that meat patty for a vegan patty. And
Yeah.
to me, it's just as good. You have your grilled onions, avocado, lettuce, tomatoes, everything else, even your mayo if you like that. But that's just on a special occasion. But what I'm getting at is we should not deprive ourselves either as far as everything we put in our mouth has to be 100% healthy. Maybe twice a week, maybe have that little bit of junk food.
Yeah.
But just keep it in moderation. Eat 90% good, because people cannot sustain eating 100%, just 100% health food.
Yeah.
But just once or twice a week, maybe cheat on it.
Right.
Cheat on it to give you, like, this is my reward for being a good boy or a good girl this week. I'm gonna have that these chips with a fried donut, whatever you want. So
Right.
with a cup of coffee. So yeah, that's your reward. But when you eat healthy, you eat clean, it's not going to affect you. But it's got to be obviously in moderation.
Yes. So how do you get protein, Russianvids, or do you not feel like
Oh, there's
need
many
much
ways.
protein?
There's many ways. Chickpeas, I love Middle Eastern falafel.
Oh,
with
I do
chickpeas.
too. Yes.
Yeah. Also, of course, pinto beans, black
Hmm.
beans, red beans, navy beans. There's a million different beans. And
Yes.
there's a lot of protein in the beans. Um, yeah, that's a major source of protein. Is I love making burritos,
Uh-huh.
lettuce, tomatoes, onions, green onions, cilantro, salsa, avocado, or guacamole, wrapped in a nice tortilla, and then I'll put like 3 different beans. For example, I'll put pinto beans, then I'll put black beans, then I'll put red beans. You have 3 different beans in a burrito, and it's absolutely delicious.
Oh, it sounds delicious.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. Yeah. And the raw onions and everything in there. It's, like I said, the reason people don't become vegetarians is they're not creative. You have to be creative, and there's many, many things you can eat. For example, potatoes. There's a million different ways you can eat potatoes. You can make them as hash browns. Of course, chips or fries, mashed potatoes. You can, with garlic and rosemary, and roast them in the oven with olive oil. They're fantastic way. Just got to be creative. There's millions of ways.
Right.
And just make everything you made before. Just omit the meat and just be creative. That's all you need to do. And you might have to up this. I got to be careful how I say this. You might have to up the salt a little bit, but I'd rather have you consume more salt than a dead animal, putting a dead carcass in your system. So make sure you're spicing things good. Here's the thing too. I should mention, when people eat meat, they never eat it just as it is. They're always adding herbs and spices. Well, what are these herbs and spices come? They come from plants. So it's rosemary, it's basil, red peppers, paprika. These are all from vegetables.
Exactly.
So they're enjoying their steak. They couldn't enjoy the steak without these delicious spiced vegetables.
That's for sure. Yes.
Yeah, that's a pretty amazing thing. But like I said, one of my favorites is definitely baby potatoes roasted with rosemary and garlic and olive oil roasted in the pan. Absolutely delicious. Absolutely.
Oh, it sounds delicious.
Oh yes, and spinach too. I love making.
Not only am I being floss, we're coming round for dinner.
Yes.
Yeah, I was going to say Floss might like it too. I love Indian food, and I love palak paneer, also known as saag paneer, spinach. It's really good stuff. Served with basmati rice, so aromatic, and like I said, the thought what I'm going on and on about recipes and different kind of foods, but it's so important because if I just say vegetarian or vegan, they're lost. Like what am I? Gonna, I don't know what to do. What am I going to eat? So I got to plant seeds. No pun intended. I got to plant seeds when it comes to different ideas of how they could sustain a vegetarian or vegan diet.
That's right. Yeah, because you need to have ideas. My sister became, first she was a vegetarian, that was years ago, and she had to be creative and, like you said, and figure out what to eat. And now she's more going the vegan route years later. So, but she loves animals. That's the main reason why she does it, is her love of animals, that she can't bear to think of an animal being killed or anything.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
She just
And
loves
that's
that.
Amy. I'll say this too, Amy. How can someone call themselves an animal lover when they eat
Oh, I
meat?
know.
You can't. So Karen, that's
No.
back to you, Karen. You know, hopefully you're going to become a vegetarian or vegan. And this is the thing is too, I cannot dictate anything to anybody. I'm a very easygoing person. I just ask people, if you're going to continue to eat meat, eat less, please. I can't, but I
Yes.
cannot
I
tell
do
anybody.
try Russianvids. I have certain meals without any meat in at all, and I'm not very good at, like, a big lump of meat will come along and I'll be, oh, I can't eat that. I
Good.
like little tiny
That's a
wee
start.
bits sort of sprinkled on. I don't know. It's a bit
Yeah.
hard being a meat eater all your life, but I
Yeah.
do try and eat meals without meat in as well.
Yeah, I know in the UK it's big to meat, and they have those meat pies and these kind of things, and but that stuff will put you in the grave. You know, how many vegans and vegetarians are overweight, obese? You know, how many times do you see healthy people walking out of the store with diet soda? It's always the obese people, very large, very hefty, very fat, with 2 liters or cans of diet soda. And what happens is that has aspartame in it, which has
Yes.
many bad side effects, and it also makes you crave you to eat more. It does the exact opposite what it's supposed to. It makes
Sometimes, though, Russianvids, I know what you mean. Like, you smell a McDonald's, you think, cool, I want one, but it's never as nice as the smell.
yeah.
Right.
Well, the thing is here, in California, they have signs when you stand in line at McDonald's saying foods in this establishment are known to cause cancer. Disneyland, they have signs all around the picnic area. On the paint are known to have toxic chemicals known to cause cancer. So why isn't this barred and outlawed? For example, you go to Chinatown in San Francisco, they sell these teapots, every single one of them in every single shop in Chinatown, San Francisco. You look at the bottom, it says these products are known to cause birth defects, cause cancers. So why is the government saying we're going to remove these from the shelves? We're going to find paints that don't have these chemicals, because people say, well, but it's paint, it's already baked in. No, because when you put hot liquid, your tea, which is supposed to be good for you, into these little tea kettles in these teacups, well, there's going to be some leaching from that hot water. It's going to get in your system, little by little.
Yeah,
So,
and I think what it is everybody believes that we're set up with all these regulations and all that, and they just don't exist. Whether they
well,
are
that's the thing is,
something else, they
well,
don't
the thing is this
follow the
though.
regulations, do they?
Well, the thing is though, yeah, and the thing is this: they're going to tell us, just like fluoride, this stuff is poison. They're going to tell you McDonald's is poison. It's up to you to take our warning. We're putting it right in front of your face. Or why aren't you not reading this? Why aren't you not making changes to your life? Because people say, oh, I've been eating it for years and I'm fine. No, but it's a slow death, just like cigarettes, slow death. So that's what they want to do, and it's going to be your fault because you didn't take the warning. So that's one thing. It's this simple. Our bodies are just like an example. Our bodies are like cars. Your car will last long if you maintain it, you take care of it. Of course, eventually it can and will break down. Same with us. But you want to live a happy, healthy life. Definitely make changes, and everything that the Creator God made for us is healthy for us. Blueberries, strawberries, bananas, kiwi, all these amazing things, just absolutely delicious. And one thing I would stay away from, this might be controversial, is juicing. Juicing in moderation is fine. Orange juice, apple juice. But what I'm telling people is it's better to blend it, because you're getting all the fiber that God intended you to consume. So, for example, throw a banana in the blender, throw some oranges, then put some nice, clean, fresh water in there, and then you blend it. So it's going to be a nice, thick shake. Just water it down so you can easier to drink, because it can be rather thick. So just add some
Mhm.
water. It's going to be easier to sip through a straw, but definitely you don't want to omit, because what happens is the more fiber that's in there, you're going to be more full. You're not going to consume too much. The problem is you remove the fiber, you're left with the sugars. And
Oh, wow. Yes.
so that's why eating an orange is better than drinking an orange, because it's everything is there as the creator intended for us. Eat whole
Yes.
foods, fresh fruits. And one thing I do, for example, talking about food is so very important. Little tips to make you healthier, get you healthier. For example, people boil corn. They put a pot of water, they boil corn for 15, 20 minutes. No, you just killed it. You're eating just the skeleton of the corn with no vitamins left. I boil water and I turn it off after 3, 4 minutes once it starts boiling. I take it out the heat.
Okay.
I'll throw corn in there, fresh corn.
Right.
I'll leave it in there for 3, 4 minutes. On no heat, no, not on the burner. It's residual heat that's already boiled water, just for 3 or 4 minutes.
You do cooking in your house, do you, Russianvids?
Oh yes, absolutely. And this is one thing that's so very important, is what I'm getting at, Karen and Amy, is eating things as raw as possible. For example, broccoli is very hard to eat as is. So you just shred it up a little bit. You know, it's going to be easier for you to digest. And actually, too, we should be eating the green parts. The core is rather fibrous, not really intended to be eaten. So what I would suggest is eating the green flowerlets of the broccoli, and definitely put them in salads. Maybe just things people could do to make it taste better. You get broccoli, zucchini, onions, bell peppers. Get a really hot pan, put some olive oil, a little bit of garlic, and then toss in all your vegetables on very high heat. Cook it for a minute or two. Take it off. It's barely cooked, and it's crunchy. Has that nice flavor.
Good. Yes.
And it's so delicious. And what I'm getting at is, if the food looks dead, it's not. It's dead in your system too. It's got to look alive on the plate. But if
Right.
it looks all saggy, it looks all floppy, it looks all translucent, transparent, and it looks dead, that's because it is. You killed it.
I know what you mean about the cooking, though, because I don't like food that's, I prefer crunchy vegetables than mashed vegetables.
Absolutely,
You know,
absolutely.
I don't know about for you, because I don't think sprouts are so important in America, but you have your roasty and someone's boiled the sprouts a long time. It's not the same as crunchy sprouts.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, definitely there's a difference. But the main thing too is we should be self-sufficient. I know it's not feasible maybe in the UK with tropical trees, but of course you can grow many things. And one thing I know that can grow well in the UK is Chilean, those Chilean guava. The Chilean guava, which is like blueberries, you can grow them in the UK, and many other things you can grow in the garden there. But unfortunately, like mangoes,
Yeah, you wouldn't
avocado.
like it here, Russianvids, because you can't grow as much here as you can grow in America.
Yeah,
You have
that's the thing.
nice weather all the time.
Well, I love growing, like I said, I love growing mangoes, avocados, banana, did I say guava, star fruit, oranges, apples, pears, the whole spectrum. And the more you can put in there, an important thing too is when I grow mangoes, there's different seasons. Some mangoes are early, some are mid, some are late. So you have some mangoes in spring, some in summer, some in fall. So you have it 3/4 of the year. And if during winter it's a little bit colder, they're not growing, you can simply slice them up, put them in a freezer bag, and store them away and let them defrost on the counter, and have some delicious mangoes in December.
That sounds good.
Yeah. You
No
gotta be
plastic
creative,
in your house, then, Russianvids.
And also, too, not to contradict myself, but there's also obviously you can get those. It's not even contradictory. You can fresh freeze those fruits that I just mentioned. Throw them in the blender that are frozen with maybe some almond milk, some cashew milk, and you can blend it all up. Put a little cinnamon, put a little bit of cardamom. You're gonna have the most absolutely delicious, a smoothie with all the fiber. And like I said, don't be afraid to add a little bit of water, almond milk, or cashew milk to thin it out, because those fruits have a lot of fiber, and it's gonna be very thick and kind of hard to just drink through a straw.
Yeah.
So definitely the
Yeah.
whole moral
Maybe
is,
when we have one of your smoothies, we need a spoon.
Yes.
but the moral is, like I said earlier, is definitely getting across the idea, because like I said, people just say, "Oh, be a vegetarian or be a vegan," but definitely planting seeds, so people really know they can do it. This is how I do it. This is how I sustain themselves. Giving them a plan, like the old saying goes, "If you fail to plan, you plan to fail." So definitely planting seeds when it comes to different ideas, different ways of getting away from the meat that it's like this. And I'm just being honest too. Just like junk food, just like meat, a lot of things that people love so much, they're bad for you. The roasted steak, the prime rib, just like a Twinkie, just like a donut, just like cakes, just like crumpets or anything. All these kind of things. Here's the thing is too. I talked to Dave Murphy about this on a podcast too. We talked about flour products. We talked about sugar products. All these, the whites are very harmful. White flour, white sugar, and white salt.
Right.
But think of flour. When I was a child, we used to make our own glue. And how do we make glue? We use two simple things: water and flour.
That's
We
right.
made
I
paste.
remember that. Yes.
So now we're putting that in our bodies. We're putting this paste in our bodies. So definitely, and I'm not saying don't eat any more bread products. I like making wraps. It's minimal amount of flour, and you have a lot of vegetables in there.
Yeah.
Like, for example, people get tired of salads. What I like doing is making a salad wrap. So you have your salad, you have your lettuce, tomatoes, cucumbers, your dill weed, cilantro, whatever you like, and with your favorite dressing. You just heat up a tortilla in a pan, you just wrap it, and it's absolutely superb. A different way of eating something that can be rather boring to some,
Yeah.
but you kind of spice it. But also, it's delicious. Is you get some fresh corn and you roast in the pan with a little bit of oil, garlic, and you put some spices in there and you add it to your burrito. It's absolutely delicious. So
Do
we've
you
been
like
talking about.
aubergines, Russianvids?
I'm sorry.
Do you like aubergines?
Aubergines. What's
Oh,
aubergine?
I think
Or courgettes? Do you like
eggplant.
courgettes?
Eggplant.
Oh, eggplant, yeah.
We call it
Eggplant. Eggplant's fantastic. Yeah, I love eggplant parmesan. I don't make it too much because I'm just being very honest. The best eggplant is fried eggplant. The purple eggplant, the black eggplant, fried, and you can make the most amazing sandwiches, vegan, vegetarian sandwiches with fried eggplant. But if you use healthy oil, it will be okay. But again, in moderation. You can also bake it. I mean, you can definitely bake it and roast eggplant as well, or make like a baba ganoush, like a Middle Eastern style creamed eggplant, and that's very good as well. With hummus, of course, with chickpeas,
Yeah.
and I'll say this too. I mentioned earlier is
Do you make your own hummus then, Russianvids?
say that again.
Do you make your own hummus?
Actually, I do have some chickpea flour. It's 100% chickpeas, and I do make some a kapora, Indian kaporas, and I do love that. But as far as making hummus, no. But I could, but I do enjoy the hummus that's already made. It's a little bit of work, but definitely you can make it yourself. But definitely what I'm getting at is you get some pita. And if you're going to eat any type of bread, it's always better to eat, of course, the wraps, the pitas. You're consuming a lot less flour. And you can do, of course, the stuffed grape leaves are fantastic as well. I think a good Greek diet is very good too. They use a lot of healthy ingredients, of course, in their cooking. Just omit the kebabs, the meat kebabs, and there's so many good things. Like the lemon soup is absolutely fantastic. The Greek lemon soup. If you ever tried that, anybody out there tried it's absolutely wonderful. So we're talking about food a lot, but what I'm getting, this is so very important. If we're talking about truth, we're talking about the truth of nutrients, the truth of this world, the lies of this world, and a big part of it is getting away from the world system. And everybody in this world system, for the most part, the majority are consuming meat. And they're born to consume that. one thing I'll pass along too is just think about it. We're all born in this world consuming as children in cereals or hot cereals or cold cereals, cow's milk. So
Yes.
a baby calf drinks its mother's milk from its mom. A
Right.
baby goat drinks from its mom. All these animals, lambs, all these animals. But as humans, we drink from another creature when we
Yeah.
should be drinking. So, for example, what I'm getting at,
I
not to
don't
be
think people look at it like that. It's just a commodity in a plastic bottle, isn't it?
Right.
so yeah, what I'm getting at is imagine, not to be graphic, but imagine store shelves lined with female women's milk, and people are like, oh my goodness, what is this? What I'm getting at is that's what the creator intended. And also, it's only for young children.
Russianvids says, I'm just going for a pint of human milk.
Yes.
But the point is too, though, is remember this: how many animals drink milk as adults? It's only made for young.
Yeah, and they don't drink human milk, do they?
No, they
That's
don't.
right.
Exactly, but it's only meant to nourish the very young to get bigger and stronger and grow fast. So as adults, we no longer need it, but people still consume it, and they put it in everything. So again, this whole world life system, and the funny thing is, Chinese medicine, natural medicine, is mocked by science.
I know.
And what bothers me tremendously is you see all these people, and it reminds me of a lot of people that are global pushers. I remember having a debate with this one individual, kind of hefty, a man in the UK. His name is Fight the Flat Earth, and he talks about how the importance of the jab and all these things, and he was complaining about he doesn't have his meds during a live stream. He's not feeling good because he needs his meds.
Oh,
and this is the same person mocking natural remedies. But here's the thing is, you have people in China, 100 years old, old men pushing wheelbarrows, still working, doing things the natural way. So
yes.
One thing I'll say this in closing about the food and everything, and I remember talking to this Chinese woman about natural remedies, how it's mocked. She goes, well, people need to understand there's no overnight fix when it comes to natural. It's got to be something part of your daily life. You cannot be eating hot dogs, hamburgers, biscuits, scones, all these things, crumpets, and then for 50 years, then in 1 week eating naturally and expect to be perfectly healthy.
Right.
It's got to be a lifestyle. It's got to be consistent. It's going to take time. It took you many years to be unhealthy. It's going to take you many years to be healthy.
Yes.
So people need to understand that. And that's what I've heard from a lot of people. They say, well, I tried to be a vegetarian and I tried to be a vegan. It didn't do anything for me. But yeah, after 50 years of eating absolute garbage, now you tried it for 3 months and it didn't do anything for you. Well, you expect miracles, I guess. It doesn't work that way.
Exactly.
It's got to be sustained. It's got to be for a while. It can't be for a week or two and expect a miracle microwave results.
Exactly.
Everything's common sense in this world, but the problem is most people are lacking common sense.
That's for sure. I agree.
Common sense is not that common.
It's not. Common sense is not that common. That's for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
Yeah.
That's great.
Thanks for that, Russianvids, on the food. I know that you're a loved vegan.
Yes.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad this platform, I didn't plan to go in that direction, but I think it's so very important because what good is truth to us if we're 6 feet under?
That's
we won't
true.
be speaking truth
Exactly.
if I'm eating, everyday donuts, burgers, fries, steak.
Also, I think that you will say as well, it makes you think differently. You'll have different thoughts, different feelings by not eating meat.
Oh, I'll tell you right now. Before when I see meat, I have a cough. I'd have cough issues. I would get fatigued. You're weighed down. You're not as light. Like, for example, here's a perfect example. You eat a regular hamburger with beef. After you're done, you feel stuffed. You feel full. You feel almost sick. You eat a vegetarian or vegan patty, you feel light on your feet. You don't feel that full. And that's another thing I should tell people. Eat until you're satisfied, not until you're full. If you feel like you're full, that means you overate. It should be, I'm satisfied, and not how much you could jam into your body. The more you jam into your body, the more you're making your body work. Your body hates that.
Yes.
So you eat lighter, your body can process it. For example, here's a perfect example. You have breakfast. Eat like half of it, and save the rest for in an hour. Eat the rest, or an hour or 2 hours later. Do not feel like you have to eat the whole plate right there and then. If you go out to eat, never eat all the food that's given to you. Make it a plan to eat only half of what's put on your plate or less, and save the rest for your next meal later in the day. So you're stretching the dollar, you're stretching that meal. So it's economically smart. It's good for your body as well. It's a win-win situation. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, these are some great tips that I'm going to be following them.
Oh,
that's great, Russianvids.
Yeah, you're very welcome, Amy. And like I said, just things I've always considered and think of. And like I said, I hate to hear about a truther that's smoking cigarettes, boozing it up, unhealthy. It just doesn't jive to me.
Yeah,
and that reminds me of that one Scottish man. He's actually German. In Scotland, where he's sitting there and he's smoking 10,000 cigarettes, trying to speak truth. Well, the truth is, his foundation's off. What's he doing smoking all those cigarettes? Rolling those cigarettes, and that's not a healthy way to go. It just, to me, is if you're in truth, you should be in truth in every which way.
Yeah.
And against this world, against what they're pushing. Again, if for example, if they're really concerned about our health, they would outlaw cigarettes completely. It has no value to us at all. At all. And people just cannot let it go because they the nicotine there, and obviously it's highly addictive, and people in truth have fallen for that trap. So what I'm getting at is this simply to be concise. If you're into truth, the further you go along the way, you're going to eradicate yourself from every angle, everything they're pushing, from the foods, the medicines, the TV, the television. You're going to eradicate all that from your life, and you're going to be free.
That's right. Well said, Russianvids. Yes.
Thanks, Amy. I know Karen. Karen doesn't smoke. I know Karen doesn't drink, and she does a really good job taking care of herself as well. I just hope one day she removes the meat, but that's totally up to her. I cannot push her to go in that direction, but hopefully she does.
Actually, Russianvids, I have to let go on one thing. I do smoke, sorry, but I don't drink.
Oh, you do?
A little bit, yeah, sorry, but I don't drink.
Okay, at least that's not so bad, but definitely, and I'm sure that's you started doing that before your truth there. So
yeah, I was about 16, unfortunately.
See, that's the same thing with a lot of people in truth. And here's the thing is too, none of us are perfect. No matter how well-rounded we are in truth, I still like a good donut once in a while. I love chocolate.
Now we know the truth, Russianvids. He's a donut man.
Once in a while, once every few months.
I think that's all allowed. It's you can do these things, but just do them occasionally and don't. Yeah. Got to.
I'm just being real. And listen,
you did say that you hadn't given it up because you didn't like it. You just gave it up because it wasn't good for you.
Right.
Yeah. And the thing is this: as humans, we're all flawed in a certain area, and will always continue to be. None of us are perfect. But just try to control our addictions. We all have our own addictions. Some people are addicted to fear. Some people are addicted to food. Some people are addicted, to something in their life. And so that's just something we're going to deal with. But try to contain it. Don't let it overtake your life. And once you can do that, you'll be a lot better off.
Yes, follow what Russianvids says.
That's
yes,
right.
absolutely. And that's what we need to do. And like the old saying goes, when you know the truth will set you free. And that's from the Bible. That's so very important. And that's what I was talking about too. People, they want to bash the Bible, this, and that. People are free to believe what they want. But I'll tell you this right now. The schools teach directly out of the textbooks. The churches don't. The churches don't teach that we live on a flat earth, what the Bible says. The churches don't teach that that long hair is intended for women, not for men.
It actually says there's a part in the Bible that says all the churches you make, I don't reside in those. So we still go to church. So there you go.
Yeah, and it also says, I've been to church where it says, you know, of course, we see all people yelling and screaming, praying. In the Bible, it says, pray alone. Do not do it to be seen. You should do it in your private, behind a closed door, not to boast.
That's really strange, because that gives your connection to the higher, and they don't want you to have it. They want you to have the book to do it.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is, you know, like I said, I find it amazing. I'll watch a televangelist on TV during Christmas, and it's Christmas means Christ Mass. The etymology is Christ Mass, and that's the thing is, that's when Christ died, not when he was born, because according to the Bible, Christ was born 6 months after John the Baptist. So that would lead to fall, not to December. So that just tells you the truth is not in a preacher's repeating the same lie. What I'm getting at is, while the preacher man is talking, he has 3 Christmas trees behind him talking about Christmas and this, and this, when the Bible specifically says in Jeremiah 10, do not cut the tree from the forest and line it with silver and gold. Do not follow the customs of men. And this is what Christians do. And unfortunately, you know, this is the reality.
They're not really being Christians then.
Well, the reality is this. It doesn't matter if you're a Muslim or Christian. In many ways, they're deceived in this world full of lies, where they're controlling the religions, they're controlling science. But there is truth in both. There's some truth in science. There's truth in Christianity. But I truly believe this as well, that God would not put us here and not have us a hand guide, a guide for life. And I truly believe that the Bible's intended for. But people twist it for their own use, and people reject it because they don't want to live by rules. Here's the thing: is if a creator put us on this world, and we all make up our own rules, then it'll just be complete anarchy. So what can we do?
Well, even if you're not particularly, you know, into the Bible, I still think the 10 Commandments, you know, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal, I think they're embedded in you almost, those things.
Well, that's depending on the individual. Some individuals,
oh yeah, okay.
Animals, well, people kill animals all the time. So, you know, and they're Christian. They go hunting and they're Christians. Thou shalt not kill. Well, they're killing animals. So thou shalt not kill. So I don't want to.
They're not really Christians, then, are they?
Yeah. Well, what I'm getting is none of us are perfect, and I'm not going to point fingers at others because I'm not perfect myself. We all have our own flaws, but
we can change the subject. I've got a couple more questions here.
Sure.
Russianvids, when you look up in the sky and you see some of those planes, have you ever zoomed in on them? I can't see the plane. I only see the trail.
I do see. I mean, I've seen the planes myself. I mean, you know,
I took some pictures yesterday of a couple of planes. Yeah, they were a bit in the distance, but I couldn't see any plane. I just saw the trail.
Okay, those are the super high flying ones. Yeah, sometimes you'll see them at night too. You always see a flashing light. You don't see the planes. Of course, it's dark. But as far as the daytime, yeah, I think there's times where I just see just the cloud, and you just see like maybe like a dot that could be the plane. You don't really see it that well. But you're in the UK, it could be a different sky a little bit than here in the US. And I gotta see your footage. You know, I'd love to see your footage. You're saying you don't see the actual plane.
Russianvids. I know something else I forgot to tell you. I'm not particularly into the Gleason map myself, but when me and Amy, explain to Russianvids when we looked up about flying to America, where you have to fly to.
Yes, you have to fly to Canada if you're going to fly to America from another place.
All planes fly to Canada.
Yes. Yeah, because Karen, when she came to America, you laid over in Canada, right, Karen?
Yeah, we went to Bangor, Maine, but it's a long time ago when Freddie Laker was up and doing his DC-10 flights, but we stopped at Bangor, Maine and then carried on. But I mean,
they say international flights, right? You're talking about you're not talking about U.S. flights, because I've flown many times, and I know I wasn't over Canada. For example, obviously, I flew from San Francisco to Los Angeles.
No, no. To get to
Like
America, anybody
international.
going
Okay.
into America flies to Canada. Yeah, you've got to go to Canada before you go to Los Angeles.
I was saying, I said I heard all flights in the U.S. fly over Canada. I'm like, wait a second.
Oh, no.
Yeah, you've got to go to
International
Canada
flight.
first. You've got to add another sort of 2 or 3 hours on your journey. But
Yeah.
I thought that was really strange. And they said that they don't fly over the Pacific. This is Google says this. You don't fly over the Pacific. You don't fly near Mount Everest because of the electromagnetics. And it goes on, and you're like, and then basically the way that they're making it fly to America, making it sounds like we're going in tunnels of air. And they're talking about, they call it a sea up there now. And you're like, wow.
I know.
Well, one thing I find interesting is this, and I said this before, but people have to, it's worth repeating. There's one simple way to put the whole debate, flat Earth versus globe, and it's this simple. Fly a plane from the tip of South America over so-called Antarctica and up in Australia. Right there, that's it. That's all you need to do. But guess what? They've never done it. They circumnavigated east to west millions of times. They made 0 flights over Antarctica. 0.
Well,
but they flew many times over the so-called North Pole, but never Antarctica. That's why it's called the Antarctic Circle. That's why it's called the Antarctic Edge.
But for those people that have said they've had these amazing flights, so if they've flown from here to here, it's rubbish, because it actually said on the computer that nobody flies over the Pacific.
Yep, that's right.
Well, it's true. It's true. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why on that, because obviously, there's different people I know. Dave J.
But nobody could fly from like Japan to Los Angeles. It can't happen because they're not next to each other. So that's.
I know, but I'm trying to explain that. I'm explaining that right now.
Sorry, carry on.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No problem. So what I'm getting at is this: Dave J., very famous truther that's been around for a tremendous amount of time, such as myself. He was in the U.S. Navy, based in San Diego, California. He flew many, many times to Japan, where he was stationed at as well, for more work with the U.S. Navy. Of course, Japan not allowed to have a Navy, over world stage theater stuff. Anyways, the point is, because I was very curious, we always ended up landing, quote, refueling, in Alaska, more or less taking a break, do what they need to do, pick up more people, drop off some people on the way to Japan. So he said every time we flew to Japan from San Diego, we ended up in Alaska. So on the flat Earth map, Alaska is the halfway point of a straight line of San Diego to Japan. So yes, the only time you go over Pacific is to go to Hawaii, and it's only a partial flight to Hawaii, of course.
Yes. Yeah, you wouldn't do a full flight like over the Pacific, but a little bit.
Yeah, it's not a full, it's just a mini, of course, a mini. So there's no reason to fly over the Pacific besides going to Hawaii. And yeah, that pretty much sums it up.
I suppose people like Jin, though, in Japan, that blew my mind, because what it was is he was telling us that he took a flight to say, well, Los Angeles or something, and I know because I've been myself that it was about the same time, and you think, well, he's twice as far away on those maps. But I did see a map. I feel that the UK is lying on its side, and it lies out to its side, and then the rest of Europe then twists round, and it could be that Jin is in a completely different place, like above me almost, and that's why he takes the same amount of time to fly to America, because he's actually the same amount of time away. He's just a bit further up. And because
Gene?
No, Gene his name is. But because we twist round, everything we think that's in the south is north, because it's twisted round.
Yeah. Everything.
I don't think a lot of people get that. So
one thing
north, it will be north, because it has to go north for the rest of Europe to get their sun. The hot countries, Spain and all those places. They're not in the places that they say they are.
Yeah, that's one thing I want to make clear. Nobody knows the true dimension. So these
nobody knows the truth of anything, do they?
All these maps, the Gleason's map, they're just They're just a frame of reference. Do
Yes.
not consider these legit maps. None of us have a legit map of this world. None of us. But the point being is, it's okay to use them with the caveat that this is just a representation. It's not the true world we live in. And I like to call
that's really strange that it doesn't matter which country's coming over to America. We've all got to head for Canada so we can fly down into America.
Yeah, that's why I call it. I rather, instead of flat Earth, it's better to call it God's domed Earth, God's enclosed Earth, rather than flat Earth, because flat Earth has a bad stigma. But we need that in the title, and we need that for transparency. So people are like, what are you talking about? So we got to throw in the flat Earth. Yes, flat Earth, but it's really God's enclosed world, and there's nothing else beyond that, and that's so very important to really spotlight.
Yes, I like that.
Yeah, and here's the thing is too, and I know Karen, as far as the churches and all that, yeah, it's people hold their hands and they're praying and it's all for show. I just want to say that to Karen because I know she's not really into the religious aspect, and that's just mainstream Christianity. Joel Osteen, T.D. Jakes, all these people. They have no clue. It's like this. I tell this to people, and I made a video about this a long time ago. To understand this world deception, people need to understand that all these televangelists are in on it. If they're really about the truth, they would tell us we're living on a flat plane, that these events from New York to Boston to London, they're all fake.
How can they be preaching? How come they don't get it?
Because they know, and they're Masons, they know what they can say, and they know what they can't say. It's just like after the event in New York, it doesn't matter if it's a liberal or conservative network. We'll argue, debate everything. But one thing is, for sure, it was done by people that wear towels over their heads. It wasn't done by the government. So that's one thing they'll always be consistent on. Is this is I'm going to say this. I'm going to be careful the way I frame it so people understand this. They'll let us have debates, but they're the ones that are going to set up the debates on which platforms, how far you can steer away. But if it's debated in the media, we're allowed to discuss it. If it's taboo in the media, people will refuse to have a discussion. So the media is mind controlled in so many ways. Of what can be debated is this: left and right politics, abortion, things like this. They will allow. So whatever they're spotlighting. But one thing is for sure, like I said, the one event in New York, not to be debated. We know who did it, and both conservative and non-conservative will always state that. So they're the ones that dictate the framework of which debates can take place and which debates are off the table, not to be discussed. So they're the ones that are a complete mind control. And it drives me absolutely nuts with all these people that believe all the lies. They think they're so intelligent, so smart, so well-read. They're the ones that are farthest from the truth. And they have no clue. And they know to articulate lies. Like, for example, you talk about flat Earth. They say, we know the Earth is not flat because the sun at the 35-degree angle and the shadows at this degree and this, and they'll throw a bunch of stuff they heard from a scientist, and what I would tell them is this, obviously you look at the ground to find out if it's flat. You don't look at shadows in your kitchen to tell you if your floor is flat. Oh, but the shadow bouncing off my ceiling light is curved on the ground. That must mean that my floor is curved. No.
Right.
They want to stay away. This is one thing you'll notice about all these so-called debates on all these different platforms. The people that are ball earthers always will talk about the lights in the sky. They don't like to talk about the what's underneath our feet. They rather obfuscate. They rather talk about shadows, the supposed lunar the lunar eclipse or this eclipse or that eclipse, the lunar eclipse, the solar eclipse, gravitational, this or that, but they'll stay away from what the topic's about, and that's what's under our feet.
Exactly.
Yes. How many levels are under our feet? How many resets there's been, or whatever you want to call them, mud floods.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
Don't want us looking into all that, do they?
That's right.
Well, it's mind control to the max, and people. Well, if you want to be liked and accepted by your peers, you're not going to go in this direction. You want to be at the table. You want to be the life of the party. You can't speak what we're speaking because they're under complete mind control. They must go along with the program, and it gets back to what's happening today. All these people on social media, on Twitter and Facebook, they're so proud to wear the face diaper. They're so proud to announce with that banner that I got the job. Oh, I'm doing my part. Over all a huge lie. And they have no idea. They're so smart.
That's the saddest part, isn't it, Russianvids and Amy?
Yes.
Yeah. Absolutely. And it's a sad world we're living in, but nothing's better to be awake.
Did you feel like this when you were a kid, Russianvids, or is this something that you got into? I mean, as a kid, we would have believed all these things. When did you stop believing it? Like when you started making your videos?
Well, I said this many times. When I was 5 years old, being in the front yard of my parents' house, and my brother telling me the earth is spinning, and I said, no, it's not. We're not spinning. No, it's spinning. So don't notice. I said, no, we're not spinning. I trust my instinct over what someone told me. I never was one to care about. This is a huge thing that people underestimate. The concern of what other people think and how you're looked upon. I never was one to care about making friends. I had friends, and I didn't care about making them. They just happened. But I was not like a friend collector. If you're a friend collector, you cannot go in the line of truth, because
as a little boy, you already knew.
Yeah, as a little boy. But one thing, I'm just going to be very blunt. I remember being in grade school, looking at a globe and telling a female friend, saying, "This is crazy. Imagine all this water sticking to the ball, and it's absolutely absurd." But the flat Earth, water fall off the side, so I guess by default it must be a globe. But again, the equation of that was removed was the ice wall, the ice barrier, like a lake that's with holding the water.
I am so that you said that about the maps, because we don't know what shape we are. We could be such a weird shape they can't tell.
Hold on. This is one thing I'll say about that. I will say we could, they give us truth and entertainment. A circle within a square, the four corners.
Thank you, Russianvids. What do I say, Amy?
That's exactly what Karen says too.
Yeah. So.
Yep, exactly.
So to me, the sun is circling. People can disagree or not, but the sun is circling above us, and of course, the inner ring is going to be colder at the furthest point. The outer ring, the further you get away from it's like, imagine a knife slicing through butter, and you're making that circle, and that's what's happening. But the bottom line is, the further you get away from the sun, the cooler it's going to be. But one thing's for sure, it's a very, very local sun, just above the clouds.
Yes, you know what I've worked out, Russia? I was looking at things the other day, and I saw these people. They were on top of a hill in somewhere like India, but they were looking at clouds. So I thought, I want to know how high that mountain is. It was half a mile up, and they were in the clouds. And then I saw pictures of the Eiffel Tower in clouds, and I worked out that the clouds are only about 300 to 400 feet up. And sometimes I've seen the sun and the moon lower than the clouds.
Well, remember,
it only goes to just above the clouds. It does go a bit above the clouds, but
hold on, Karen. Remember this: clouds. There's many clouds, and there's different heights. You mean some, like you said, I've seen clouds.
The low ones. I mean, when we were little, I'm sure you'll agree, we used to look up and think, "Oh, the clouds are up there." But obviously, I've been watching Stan Smith. Poor Stan Smith. Did you hear about that Russianvids? He died.
Yes, I heard.
Oh, I'm so upset. He was only in his 30s. But anyway, he put cameras up in his roof, and he was filming it day in, day out. And I just thought, oh my God, look how low the cloud is. That low cloud is so low.
And I'm sorry, when you said Stan Smith, I thought you were referring to Stan Smith, the comic writer. You talking about Stan Smith, a flat earther?
Yeah, do you remember? I
Yeah.
don't know if you remember Stan Smith. He was the one that did the 360 cameras.
Oh, from the so-called North Pole. He's the one that captured that footage.
Yeah, I think we've had
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
he
I'm
was only in
sorry.
his 30s. Isn't that awful?
Terrible. Yeah. Well, it's listen, I'm going to say this. This might be controversial, but people that believe they're desperate to stay in this world that's full of lies, Satan's domain.
Oh yeah, Sam's in a good place now.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. Yeah, so we should not be afraid of leaving this world life system to go to a much better place.
Oh, I agree. I agree. Yes.
Well, I've actually said, I don't want to leave because I really love my grandchildren. I just love these little girls. So I've got another one coming in July.
Oh,
My
congratulations.
son,
Well, I'm not saying we're in a rush to leave, but on
but I don't want to come back, Russianvids. Please don't send me back here again. It's horrible here.
yeah. But it's
Apart
like,
from people like you and Amy. You and Amy are gems. But most of
thank
them
you.
ugly.
Thank you. But I'll say this.
Yeah.
When people pass, the only people that feel the pain are the ones left behind. The person that's gone, they're not feeling the pain. It's the ones that are left behind that are still stuck in this world.
That's
full of lies, deception.
where we live, even when you're talking about the vegetables, we live in a beautiful place. But it's just run by ugly people.
Oh yeah, because it's
Yes.
God's created world. Yeah, it's God's created world that's beautiful. The birds, the bees, the fruits, the vegetables, the mountains, everything, the trees, but they're toxic people. They have made it's like a house. You can build a beautiful house, but it's run by.
They want us wired in, don't they, Russianvids? They want us wired into the computer. That's what they want.
Well, they definitely want us to be. They want us to, whatever the case is, they want us to be herd thinking. Do not have your own independent thoughts. Obviously, group think. And don't deviate.
You know what? Supposedly, that's how the military treat their people. They don't want individuals. They want people as a group.
Right.
Yeah. Well, that's the funny thing is that people can't go in the direction of Satanism, but we need to understand the Purple Heart, the Medal of Honor, all these military medals, they're all upside down pentagrams. They're all, what do they do in the military? Thou shalt not kill. They do the exact opposite what the Bible says.
Do you think, I've looked at the Pentagon, I think the Pentagon was on a star fort.
Yeah, well, we know D.C. is also, Washington, D.C., District of Columbia. We know that, like the Space Shuttle Columbia, British Columbia, the country of Columbia. We know on that one event in New York, the plane flew down the Columbia Pikeway as an Albert Pike. That one school in Colorado, I got to be careful not saying the name, but it's a reference to Columbia.
We're talking about Russian.
Yeah.
It's a carry on.
Yeah, and also Christopher Columbus, Columbia, Columbus, all the same. So this is the Statue of Liberty referring to, quote, Lady Liberty, which is actually Apollyon, a man in drag in disguise. Because when you see Helios, which is the same as Apollyon in Greek, when you remove the robe, you see the man's parts, obviously, but the face is identical.
Do you know what, Russianvids? That was it was a sort of present. I think it was going to be going somewhere else, and they couldn't accept it, so the Americans accepted it, and then it was shipped over to you. I think the French gave it to you.
Yeah, the French. Here's the funny thing is, and this is one thing I've spotlighted in the video. Just think about this, Karen and Amy and everybody else listening in. We have many, 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 many photos of the Statue of Liberty being constructed. We have zero footage of the ISS being constructed, which is happening. Which happened from 1998 till 2007, 2008, up to I think 2013.
It's quite disgusting, isn't it, that a government body can take.
I was on a podcast with a man named Steve McCrae, who I call Steve McCreep. And here's the thing is, and I said that to him during this debate about flat Earth, and that topic was brought up, and I told him, I said, why isn't there any footage of, of the construction of the ISS? And he tried to make the excuse, this is top secret. They don't want to divulge secrets to Russia. And I said, hold on. They're allies.
In it.
And also the first capsule called Dawn, Raya, connected to the U.S. capsule, and that was called Unity. So it was a Russian U.S. two capsules coming together, and we remember the bogus fake shake of hands in so-called space of the Russian cosmonaut and the American astronaut. So what I'm getting at, we have zero footage of this colossal.
Yeah, I
space.
don't know why your friend said that, because there's Russians and Americans in it anyway.
Right.
It's all part of the same fraternity. They're all Masons, and it's I've made videos about Russian cosmonauts saying they're going to bring up little owls, stuffed owl to the space station, and of course it's all about skull and bones Freemasonry, and they're just mocking the people who have no idea about Masonry. Like, oh, my daughter, there's one Russian cosmonaut saying, this is a gift from my daughter. She wanted me to bring this little owl aboard the ISS, But,
just a little owl,
Hey, but I want to say this. There's absolutely nothing wrong with the owl. This is God's beautiful creature. Right. They just steal it and claim it as their own.
Sure.
But it's all about intent. Like I said many times, you can use a knife to free a whale from a net, or you can use a knife to hurt somebody very badly. So what is your intent? What is the intent with the owl? To be God's beautiful creature. So they hijack everything God created and try to make it their own.
Yes.
It's not their world, it's God's world.
Oh, Russianvids. What about when that woman, she goes, and the fluffy friend, she's from another country, like, I don't know where she's from. Yes, somewhere like, that's not even Yugoslavia, it's not a country anymore. But somewhere out there, Serbia or something. Or she could be Russian. And she goes, and she puts her hand up and the little red toy appears. Oh my God.
Yeah, I remember that. And that was they're just mocking with the CGI they're doing, the green screen, all that.
People didn't notice it. Like, they didn't think, it's just beam. They can beam up now. I don't know why they just don't beam up to the ISS space station.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're just mocking like usual. Mm-hmm. And the thing is, people, like I said, people can't go in the direction that I've always been pushing, that everything is fake. When I first said your news is fake many years ago, people they started laughing at me. When I said, if they spotlight a news story, it's their creation. People are like, what? You think everything is fake? You think we live in a fake world? I said, yes. I said, real things happen, but if it's spotlighted, it's why? They want to control the outcome, because if they just cover random news stories, this world can go in a completely different direction. So take away.
Yeah, we're living in something completely different to what they're saying. I mean, completely.
So Karen, let's take away the event in New York. Let's take away the bug. Let's take away all these events, London, all these events. We're in a much, much, much peaceful world and going in a much different direction.
Well, Russianvids, listen, I understand what you're saying. They've made a lot of people narcissistic, but with this lockdown, they didn't take one soldier or police officer. Not one. Nobody did anything. So even if we're narcissists, we're still peaceful people.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's what I'm getting at. People are a product of our environment. If all you see is muggings and a lot of bad things happen in your news, it becomes like this is normal.
That's what we are. That's all. But we're not. I mean, I'm not saying that people don't kill people sometimes. There's got to be some of that. But there isn't nearly as much as they say there is.
Yeah, a very important point I want to make. All these supposed mass events with like Ted Bundy.
None of them are real. Just 5 knots daily. Oh my God, that
all
thing.
of them, every single one of them. These mass events. Richard Ramirez. And this is what I want to explain, so people really understand. This is one thing I had a real problem with PK and David Weiss in the beginning. They didn't get it. They saw the fake events for what they were, but they didn't think or look deeper. I said, you guys need to look deeper with the numbers, 33. You got to look deeper with the plan names. For example, the Night Stalker Richard Ramirez, Ram. What's Ram backwards? It's Mar or Mars. Aries. Aries. What's the sign for Aries? If you're born in the month of March and April, the end of March, beginning of April, is Aries, is the Ram. So the Ram backwards is Mars. So Ram and Mars with the Aries. What I'm getting at is the occultic name of Richard Ramirez. And what I'm getting at too is I find very interesting during an interview in San Francisco when he was locked away. A newsman came in talking about Richard Ramirez, and he says, "Oh, and I talked to Richard Ramirez, and the way he was talking, it was like he was reading off a script."
Wow.
Then it broke away to Richard Ramirez saying, the public is very brainwashed. They're like robots. They're like computers. They don't have a mind of their own.
Yeah, and they want everything to flash past at 5. If it's not done in about 5 seconds, they're not interested.
But my point is, Karen, my point is, he's an actor. He didn't kill anybody.
Yeah.
Right.
He's just as an actor on the world stage. He's mocking. He's told reading off a script. He said the newsman even said he's reading off a script. And he is reading off a script.
Ridiculous.
And people don't get it. It goes over their head.
Right.
Because they're traumatized by what he supposedly did.
Yeah, it's like they gave the mayor of London, what's his name, Amy? They gave him an award. It was an acting award.
Yes. Oh, you mean New York, Karen?
Yes.
Yes. Their governor, I think it was. He got a Emmy award for acting for how he handled himself during
unbelievable
this, whole thing.
Just more mockery. Yeah, Amy, just more mockery, Amy and Karen. That's all it is.
Yes, mockery.
And you know what? With the Academy Awards and that, they're not filmed on the night they happen. They're not filmed the way they are. They're all put together. We can't go there. We can't substantiate it, which is what you say, isn't it? We can't substantiate any of this stuff, so it's not real.
Right.
Absolutely, it's a crazy world. Just don't tell anybody because they'll just call you crazy.
Yes.
I said it before. When people are all their federal lies, and you tell them the truth, they're going to think you're crazy because the lies seem true to them when they have no understanding about this whole world lie system. And this is a fantastic discussion, a fantastic podcast, and I want everybody to know that Karen was kind enough to promise me to send my little doggy Floss over from the UK. And that's part of the deal. That's why I'm here.
I could send you. No, I can't send any part of her, can I? I can send you. I have to send the dog. Oh, that's mean.
No, I'm just joking. Of course, I couldn't take your little dog, but I fell in love with Floss when I first saw it. It was love at first sight. I love Floss.
Oh, did you see that little video I sent you when she's doing a high five?
Yeah, she's very cutie. She's very cutie.
Just puts her little paw up. She started doing that, and she's starting to get into biscuits now as she's getting older.
Yeah, she's very cute. She's an amazing little dog. Yeah, I love her very much.
Me too, Russianvids.
She's the size of a rat
too.
Yeah, Amy says that she's going to fight over her.
You and I might have to fight over her.
Yeah, poor little Floss.
No, if Karen decides to give her to one of us, I'll let her give her to you.
Oh, thanks so much, Amy. I appreciate that because Floss, I'll treat her like a queen. I'll have it, I'll have a very nice place for her. She'll be the happiest little doggy in the world.
Oh, she's the size of a rabbit, but she's got the personality of a Great Dane,
Yeah, she's very cute.
I went out the other day because she's not that good when we see other dogs. She's okay when she's met them, but when she doesn't, she's going to go, I'm having them. And I said to this person, I'm very sorry. And he said, yeah, because she's a terrorist, because she's a terrier. She's a terrorist.
Oh.
She's a terrorist.
Yeah, little terrorist, little fluffy terrorist.
Yes.
She's quite cute. If you have her in her arms, you can have her like a baby. She's quite like, she's tiny. She's about a baby size. She's you can hold her like a baby as well.
Aww.
Yeah, that's good. She's easy to ship over from the UK here to the US, so it'll be perfect.
By the way, the bit when she gets in my bed, what it was is our heating broke down at Christmas. We didn't have any hot water or heating for a few weeks through this
Oh
lockdown
boy.
thing. You know, it was so cold in this house. The dog was shaking. I said, "No, go on, get under the blanket," and it hasn't stopped. She just comes up, gets under the blanket.
Yeah, that's okay. You know, I have cats, and I have this one cat. She loves to go under the blanket too. She loves to be warm, toasty little baby. So it's okay. You know, they need to be.
Yeah.
And I looked. That's why I said that picture the other day because Floss was lying there, and I just thought, "Oh my God, the dog's got its head on my pillow. And it's under the blanket. It's like tucked around like a human." I'm thinking, "Oh my God, look at you."
Yeah, very cute little baby. Very cute little baby.
Yes.
Well, when I'm angry with her, I don't want her. I'm sending her over. Okay.
Please do. Yeah, I'll accept her with open arms.
She could be she can be an American dog.
I'll just call her Flossie baby. Flossie baby.
Yes.
Oh. So why haven't you got a dog then, Russianvids?
Yeah, you know, I like cats, you know, because cats, I like dogs too, but cats are very independent, very easy to take care of. Just
Yeah, I'm
literally,
like you. I like cats.
yeah, cats, you just put food and water and they're good to go. And you don't have to give them baths. They give them baths themselves and you don't have to take them outside. You know, they have a little litter box and they're very easy to maintain. There's a lot less work.
Yes. That's
Yeah, dogs because I like little humans.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And that's one thing I love about animals. You know, you give them a little food, give them a little water, and they'll give you a ton of love. They're not like,
yes. Oh,
they don't care about your bank account. And I'm going to tell a story, a real quick story, and I'm going to be careful here because I don't want to offend anybody out there that's listening in, but this is a reality. I remember being very young, and this one man, he was not the most attractive. He was very heavy set, but I remember being over the house and him coming home, and they had this little dog. And when he came home, this little dog went absolutely berserk, so happy to see him. He sat down. He was shaking. He was so happy, licking him, licking his hand, and out of control happiness. And what I'm getting at, he's not like us, that doggy. He doesn't see the outside. He sees the inside of
yes.
the owner.
Oh yes, a friend for life with a dog.
Yes. So I
Definitely.
saw him as a big, heavy-set man, and the dog doesn't see that. He just sees this person
Right.
takes care of me. He might be large, he might be thin, he might be tall. I don't care, but he loves me. He gives me food, water, and hugs. That's all I need, and I'm happy. And that's why this little doggy was so happy because his owner took so good care of him. And
Yeah.
I think it's a really good story. You know how
I think
we
I
can learn
like
from
it.
it.
They work on their senses, don't they? And a cat is very you know, it's instinct the way it is. That's what I like about cats. The way they
Well, cats
are.
know. Yeah, cats know people. Like if you're a cat person, they'll know. If you're not a cat person, they're leaving. They have a good sense of people. Like you'll invite someone over. If the cat leaves, that person be wary of. If the cat hangs around that person, like they stay,
Mm-hmm.
that means that cat says this person's okay.
They're better than dogs, then, really.
Yeah. So they're good. They're good with that. Cats are pretty good judgment of people. The cats are better judgment of people than people are of people.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh.
yeah. But animals are amazing, you know, and definitely I believe another sign of a creator is that the creator made these cats and dogs to keep people company too. Not everybody can have someone, so these animals are there to comfort people, and definitely that's they do it like in older people's
They
homes.
don't have an ego thing either, do they, Russianvids? That's another thing. They don't have that ego thing
Yeah,
like humans do.
yeah. But what I like is, you know, when you know, whenever like there's like a lot of these elderly people's homes to help the people cope with stress or loneliness.
I saw they were
bring
bringing
over
horses
cats,
around.
They bring over dogs, and it really cheers up the people.
Yeah, they bring horses and
Yeah.
dogs and other animals into hospitals now. It makes the people in the hospital feel better.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's really it's because you're just looking at a TV screen all day, watching The Price is Right, or watching Doctor Who all day. You know, you get a little bit dizzy.
Yeah.
and then you have a little fluffy animal there that's purring and stuff. It's very comforting, So
Oh, yes.
yeah, it's a lot better, the interaction, and yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and they're a lot nicer than most of the humans, aren't they?
Yes.
Absolutely, I agree with that 100%.
Yeah. I want to ask you something. Today there was an eclipse today. Did you see any of it? Or
I've been so busy today, I didn't even have a chance. I didn't even
I think it was
know.
a lunar eclipse, but I couldn't see it today because I did wake up, but we were covered in clouds, so I couldn't see it.
Yeah, same
We had it
here. It was just, well, I wasn't awake at that time for one thing, but also we're just covered in clouds. So, yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't see it either.
Yeah. Well, what's
Yeah.
amazing too is way off topic is that in the UK you can still do Hangouts when it's been gone in the US for the longest time. You can't do Hangouts.
Yeah.
Yeah, we use StreamYard, and I can't believe this still exists.
What we're doing the hangout on now, you mean?
Yeah, what I mean is you cannot do Google Hangouts in the US for the longest time.
Oh, right. Well, do you know something? When I tried to join up with Scully, it says I've got to do the new system and it won't let me do this. But I can't, I just can't, I have to do the new system. But I can still get on Hangouts and have these, but they're not promoting them anymore, are they?
But yeah, but my point is we can't even do them in the US. It doesn't exist in the US. It's like it's extinct. It's like it doesn't exist. It's like all the McDonald's closed in the US, but they're still in the UK, for example. Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I cannot start a hangout and do this at all here, in the US. That's what I mean. It's just it's like
No,
getting a time machine, singing the hangouts, the Google Hangout here and doing this the old style. I don't know. But one thing I know is they want to get rid of the hangouts because a lot of truthers were doing it. That was mainly the only people doing it.
Yes.
well, I have used the new one. It's not really any different to this one. It's a little bit different. It's a little bit more modern looking. But I mean, I don't know why they just didn't leave it.
Yeah.
Okay, I know.
Yeah.
They're always doing something, though, aren't they? They can never make our life easy. They have to make it. We just have to find. I was thinking, well, if Google Hangouts go, and I don't like the other thing, we'll just have to find another way of doing it.
Well, they have StreamYard, which is fantastic. It's actually better, to be honest, because it's so easy to do split screens and share screens. So, you can show my avatar, your avatar, then we can do a split screen and show a video. It's very user friendly. I know you can share screen with Google Hangouts as well, but StreamYard is very, very good. And actually, I love StreamYard. Yeah.
I never used to understand the old way of the Hangouts because they used to look like this, but they were done a bit differently when we went live. But how Google could leave that back door open for people to come in and porn bomb you, and then you'd get a strike, I think is disgusting.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's just I don't say a glitch in the system, just a faulty system they had, and
they knew it was there, and they could have actually closed up that back door, but they decided not to. And you think, why?
Yeah,
Right.
happened. That happened to the guy in Dutch. It was in Netherlands or who was his name? Vinny.
Hmm.
What's his name? Vinny.
Yeah, Vinny TV.
Vinny TV. That's it. I haven't talked to Vinny the longest time. Hopefully he's
No, I
okay.
haven't talked to him for a little while either, since the lockdown, really.
Yeah, hopefully Vinny's okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't think he was very well for a bit, to be honest. I think he had cancer.
Oh.
Oh no.
I'm not sure on that one, but I don't think he was very well. So he might have had diabetes. I can't remember what it was, but I think he did. So maybe that's what he's been dealing with.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
hopefully.
hope not. Yeah.
I can't remember now. I think it is. It's a while ago. I'll try and find that out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, definitely tell Vinny we said hello to him and all the
Well,
best.
we always used to talk through Hangouts, didn't we, Russianvids? And then we didn't.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
Yeah. Can I just say, I mean, I would talk to you till tomorrow evening, but we have been going for 2 hours, 20 minutes. Do you want to carry on a little bit longer?
It's up to you. I gotta get going pretty soon, but we can go for a little bit longer, sure.
Well, we can talk for a few more minutes here and then maybe just say goodbye to each other off air, because I like that. I like saying goodbye to you off air and having 10 minutes without record.
Absolutely. Sounds good, Karen. I enjoyed the conversation, and Amy as well. And
Yes, they don't
Yes,
realise all the
thank you.
secrets of the world happen in our conversation that no one can
That's
hear.
right.
yeah, it's pretty amazing. Their technology is backfiring on them, even though it's no longer available in the U.S. But there's other ways to do these. Like I said, StreamYard. There's a few others, I believe, as well. But the main thing is it's fantastic that we can discuss this. And yeah, I know they always listen into our conversation as well, of course, because Alex
They
Jones
have
made
to.
Alex Jones made his people made videos after watching my videos on verbatim basically what I said. They said after the fact. Of course, the event.
Did he ever
Um,
talk about you, Russianvids? Just asking.
well, I'll just say this. I was contacted by the producer of Alex Jones' show about being a guest, and then what happened was Alex didn't have me on, and then he looked at my channel closely, and after looking at it, he didn't like the fact I was calling a lot of events fake. And here's the big thing: is this is what really gave it away was I called the bug a hoax. And this is the time I was going to do it when the bug first started. I was going to be a guest, scheduled a sound check, and actually I have InfoWars on my Skype. They're still connected to my Skype. So we did a sound check to get ready for the live show. So what I'm getting at is he didn't want me to have me on as a guest because he was promoting cures for the bug. And I was going to go on there and call it absolute hoax.
Right.
So after that, the whole thing was called off. It was canceled
Oh,
because it would go against his finances because he has product to sell. He has product to sell. And,
I love that. Russianvids up against Alex Jones. Oh,
yeah, and the producer probably doesn't like that I call, I don't know. I don't want to get involved too much, but I called Alex Jones a few things,
I know you have Russianvids.
Yeah, shill, and
We all have, but we're not as famous as you.
Right.
yeah, but the bottom line is, yeah, it's probably never going to happen now. That was the opportunity, but it would have been interesting what would happen if I appeared on
You'd
there.
have been calling him out. So
Right.
Too much truth, and I definitely would have made him look bad, and he doesn't want that on his show.
I'd have had to said, "How's Pompeo?"
Yes.
Or no, I would say how's Bill Hicks?
Posing though, I've heard that he's
Yes.
admitted now that he is Hicks.
Yeah.
Well,
I've been saying that for over 10 years. I've been saying that for the longest time.
Yeah.
I've been making many videos on that, Karen. I'm surprised you didn't know, but
do you know what as well, Russianvids? Because you were talking about Alex Jones and Hicks having the same spot, like whatever it was, a freckle or whatever it is. So does Kate Middleton and what's her name, Amy?
Meghan Markle.
Yeah, but what it was is I saw this exact same where they got like a freckle or something, and then Christian noticed another one and below. They've got two exactly the same. That's impossible.
Yes.
They're the same person.
Yes.
it would not surprise me at all. Yeah, it would not surprise me one
I
bit.
know.
Oh, it's just ridiculous. Like, it's horrible. It blows my mind. It's just so horrible that they want to do this to
The
them.
main thing is this, Karen, is this. When we speak truth to people that are not awake, we must be able to prove what we say. And that's what I would stick with in the beginning when I talk to anybody about things, about this person being that person. Yes, I love to talk about that stuff, but I wouldn't start that dialogue with them. I would start with them about the media control, votes don't count. It's like this. I hate to use this analogy, but like you're not gonna first day of school teach a child algebra. You got to work your way up to it. So that's one thing that we need
work
to
your way up. Yes.
Yeah, we have to work our way up to it. So that's one thing we have to always remember.
Well, I'll never forget when I was younger, it was a bit like they explained that education is a bit like a brick wall. And if you don't get the first foundation, the second, the third, you can never get to the top of the wall. You have to have the layers of education. But now we realise that it's a load of rubbish, their education.
Right.
Absolutely. That's spot on where
they're only teaching you what they want you to know for them.
Exactly.
Yeah. What like I said, knowledge is power. Why would they want to share their power? Their knowledge.
course.
I know, you know what, we must be pretty close because they're so want to cut us out or cut us off. If we weren't telling the truth, then we wouldn't be a threat.
That's true.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. So definitely that's why I know they listen into my stuff a lot. Like I said, in Australia, ABC News Australia, they covered, things I've said, used my voice during a documentary. Also in London, Daily Mail, they mentioned me. Other outlets, Orlando, Florida, Costa Mesa News, the New York Mag. A lot of these different publications have mentioned me. Snoops. At one time, I had a video that was ranked number 7.
Yeah,
in YouTube.
Russianvids, you're this thorn in their side, aren't you?
Yeah, the thing is, they know. It's like this. Let me back up here. They have absolutely no respect for those that don't have a mind of their own and just believe whatever they say. When they hear me speak, I'm just being very honest and blunt. I'm human. I'm not all knowing. I could be a little bit off here and there, but they know I have a very, very good grasp of the world stage. They
Yeah.
know that I'm
And you
very, very
don't
close.
back down either, do you, Russianvids?
I'm sorry, say that again?
You don't back down either.
Oh, no, absolutely not. And I speak my mind, good, bad, negative. I just kind of like what I think is what I say. I've always been that way.
That's good.
Yeah,
Yes,
thank you, Amy.
that's a good thing.
Well, we'd rather you be a truthful person, so you can't back down and you have to say the way it is, don't you?
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, exactly. There's no longer a truth speaker if you're not speaking the truth. So just a lie speaker, I guess.
Just
Yeah.
obviously we're going to wind down in a minute, but what videos are you making right now? What are you into right now on your channel, just so that people know?
Well, I was planning to cover more NASA fakery
Really?
with astronauts dropping more objects in fake space. I want to do another. I talked about it before a couple times on live streams, but I want to do a video dedicated to the whole jet fuel deception. It's not a hoax; it's just a deception because they are using some jet fuel at certain aspects. It's hybrid. It's more planes are. Listen, not all planes are strictly jet fuel. Not all planes are strictly air compression. Not all planes, just like all cars. There's some cars that are hybrid, some cars are all fuel, some are air compression. So we have to be careful. Each car is built a little bit different. So you cannot.
What's a hybrid then, Russianvids?
Well, like a hybrid plane or car, like a hybrid plane. A hybrid
Yeah,
car is.
can it do both things then, or is it?
Yeah. A hybrid plane is this. If you run out of battery charge, you can still start your car by gasoline.
Right.
By petrol. That's a hybrid. It can work off
Both.
fuel and yes. So that's what they're called hybrids. They work off. So what I'm getting at is this. Just because, now this is what I'm going to explain in the video. I'm kind of like spoiling it a little bit, but that's okay. There's this one Canadian man saying, oh, here's my biplane. Here's my bill for $863 to fuel it up. So all you nuts out there talking about the jet fuel hoax, explain this. I would tell the guy, and I'll explain it, that it's like me filling up my tank of gasoline or petrol at the station and then saying, look, all electric cars are fake. All hybrid cars are fake. Because here's my proof. I have my petrol bill from the gas station. And but that's ridiculous because we know there's cars that run off strictly electric, strictly water. There's many different ways to operate a car, a different means of fuel. So that's the direction I'm going to go in. We're talking about apples and oranges here. Because different cars are made differently, they can accept.
Yeah, I think the little sort of propeller planes, they probably do use petrol, but those Airbuses, they when they're up there flying, they don't.
They use, I think, a certain amount to take off, but definitely minimal, very, 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 very minimal.
Compressors. They compress the air and they do everything. They do the cabin pressure. They do the flying. It's the auxiliary pack in the back of the plane. It's the engine.
Or it could be, and this I'm just being honest, it could be the most efficient fuel in the world, where 1 gallon, 1 liter can last forever. But the point is, the deception is, we're putting 27 tankers of petrol or gasoline in this plane, which is literally impossible. The whole point is 60% of your ticket is due to the fuel cost.
Yeah, that is disgusting, isn't it? That they keep, it's the fuel, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, so that's.
And also, you know, if there was that amount of fuel in there, I put a video once out on the channel about a lorry driver, and he stopped. He had to do it in a certain way, otherwise the liquid hits the back of the van. So anybody thinks that we're flying around with that much fuel in there, and the moment the plane turned, as it takes off, it does a steep bank, the plane would fall out of the sky.
That's why they have whatever fuel's there in the wings only, because it's only minimal, and it's just enough, where it won't dictate like the planes would go out of control. Yeah, and that's why they fill them up, not from the these trucks, fuel trucks, petrol trucks. They do from the tarmac. There's no way for the fuelers to know how much fuel is actually going inside.
Yeah, none of us. No. Can I ask you something else as well with those Airbuses? I've just got this feeling, especially when they take off and immediately they're flying around like they're in a sea up there. They do 4D flying, I think, those big Airbuses. The more modern technology in the planes, they're doing 4D flying. What's your thought on that, or do you not get into all that?
You're saying 4D flying? I'm sorry.
Well, you can only find it if you want to look up any 4D flying. They're showing you little toy planes doing it, and they jump through the air and things, and that's 4D flying. But I think that's what the Airbuses are doing. I think it's the same thing. It's like they are flying around in a sea up there. It's just weird.
Like a wind tunnel? You mean like a wind tunnel up in the sky? Like they're being.
No, basically what we're watching is a fourth-dimensional thing happening.
Yeah, that's something I stay away from, because I don't have evidence of that. I just know it's just like common sense tells me 27 trucks of petrol fuel are not fitting up into wings. You know, those relatively small wings.
You know what? If there's that much petrol in it, I'm not getting in it, because someone say accidentally shot at the plane, would explode like a flying bomb at that rate.
Yeah, that's.
And then don't forget, it must be water they're releasing, but they sometimes say, oh, we've got too much petrol, we need to get rid of the petrol, and then they release all this petrol. They wouldn't do that, would they? It costs that much money, they wouldn't be doing it.
No, absolutely not.
Right.
It's that deception again, isn't it, Russianvids?
That's pretty much all we have.
Yes.
Deception. With all the deception, they give us nuggets of truth. That's one thing. I don't say all they do is lie. All they do is lie, but then only to mock us, they'll put out the truth. Only not to help us, but to mock us. You know.
Yeah.
And they've done that continuously. Like, for an example, that movie Conspiracy Theory with Mel Gibson back in 1997.
Yes.
When Mel Gibson is a crazy conspiracy theorist cab driver, and he turns around and talks to the one pastor of the cab. He goes, George Bush, he said New World Order. And, did you know he was a third-degree Freemason? So you'll never hear in the news that George Bush is a Freemason, but you hear the truth in a movie.
Yes.
So that's the duality aspect. Truth in movies, lies in the news.
He looks a bit quiet sometimes as well, doesn't he, Amy?
Yes.
But Mel Gibson is also no hero. I mean, he's definitely Mel Gibson numerology is 33. Just funny. He's talking about 33 when he's a 33 numerology as well.
You know what, Russianvids, on the Unscrambled channel, I showed pictures on top of pictures to show you that they're the same people. And then suddenly the channel just wrote in, and they just were going, and this person plays that person, and that person plays that person. And there was loads. I spent weeks making videos on it.
Yes.
Yeah, pretty
So
amazing.
thank goodness that all those people are awake.
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah. It's
Well,
super cool.
should we like finish our hangout here and then spend 10, 15 minutes or whatever it is talking to you afterwards?
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, absolutely. And thanks again, Karen, for having me aboard. Also, Amy, great to have you. I'm
Oh,
glad I didn't do the early show, and
thank
I'm
you.
glad we were able to definitely talk again. It was
Oh,
fantastic.
me too. Yes.
Well, thank you so much, Russianvids. We love
Yeah,
you, don't
thank
we? So
you.
Thank
thank
you
you
very
very
much.
much for
You.
spending this time with us. And
Yes.
we much appreciate you and everything you do. And
That's
thank you for
right.
standing up for us.
That's right.
You're very welcome. And again, thanks so much for having me aboard. I'm looking forward to the next one.
Right.
Oh, I love you, Russianvids. Mwah!
Thanks
Yeah.
a lot. Much appreciated, Karen.
Yeah,
Thanks so much.
don't go though, because we haven't quite finished yet with you, but for this hangout. But Amy, mwah, chat room, mwah, and thank you again, mwah, Russianvids.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh yeah,
Thank
Flosser's giving you a secret kiss, okay?
Oh, fantastic. All right,
Anyway.
Flossie. Thanks, Flossie. Hope Flossie can hear me.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you so much. Really love the talk. We talked about massive stuff as per usual. Thank you so much. Mwah.
Oh, very welcome. Thank you. Thank you.